Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on the World Riichi Championship YouTube channel. Today, we're bringing you session 15 of the Sankei Shimbun Cup, Women's League 2025 season. It's the same cup, so if you've been here watching the previously Yukan Fuji Cup, then you're watching the same league, but we have a new sponsor. I am Hikaru, you may know me as Alex, and on the controls, and also joining me for commentary today is Jeremy, Tipzntrix.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. I had to practice the Sankei Shimbun. So I can pronounce it right. But yes, it is the same cup as you mentioned. And of course, later on today, Jenn, our JPML pro and participant in the cup, will be stopping by to commentate a game or two, as well as Corak for the third game. That's
yes.
right.
Our broadcast today is sponsored by WRC, the World Riichi Championship, and the USPML. We hope you'll check out Sparrow's Nest, a New York Mahjong studio fully equipped with Slim Score, Ultima, and even Rex 3 order tables. The WRC, of course, is the World Riichi Championship, the most prestigious and international Mahjong tournament in the world. It's held once every 3 years, and next in July in Tokyo. It's coming up so soon!
Yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. Gemma's been on a bit of hiatus recently, in terms of duties, but she is also very excited and nervous, as she mentions every time she commentates. So she's really working hard, as well as the rest of the WRC team, to make it a great event. It's the first time in since the first WRC that it's going back to Japan. So it's in the home of all the other Riichi Pro organizations. So I think it's very exciting. Of course, a lot of people want to go there, especially, some people have wanted to go ever since all the way back in the certain pandemic kept people from getting in. Some people have been waiting even since then.
It's almost like a pilgrimage in the Mahjong world, right? Go to WRC, especially in
That's
Japan,
right.
Yeah,
and more and more.
That'd be great to do once in your life, at least.
More and more places are a little more willing to play with foreigners, people who Japanese aren't completely perfect. Definitely not all parlors, that's for sure. It's still a minority, but I think it's plus our community's been able to spread the word about the places that are willing to let them play. The JPML dojo, of course, being the first and one of the biggest ones. Gemma even wrote a blog post on how to go play there.
Awesome. But yeah, speaking of WRC, I might not be able to go to WRC in Tokyo, but I have been taking part in a WRC event that's been going on the last few months. The World Riichi Online Team League. It's been doing a 3-player league over the last few months, and our commentary team, you, myself, Corak, and Nathaniel, we're part of a team. We've been doing all right. Not the greatest in the world.
Yeah,
right.
I think we're top 25% right now. I think we're currently at 28th, with a lot more people, a lot more players getting to the 30 game mark, which is where your score gets locked in. The scores have been shifting a lot because there's a lot more games going on. At the beginning, there weren't as many games, but now that we're into the thick of things, we're actually getting near to the end of the Team League season. There's still I think 3 or 4 more sessions. But with a lot of people getting 30 games in, the scores shift every week. But I think we're about 28th right now out of, 100 something teams?
Yeah, we are exactly 28th. Yeah, Corak with their amazing streak of 405.9 points.
Yeah, Corak is on a run.
You're doing pretty okay. But there's still time. There's still time for us all to get a little bit better. Maybe gain a few positions before the end of the league.
Thank
you.
One
thing I will say is we're doing better than Jenn's team.
Yeah, 96 teams here.
Jenn and Harrison, who you might have seen on these streams. But yeah, Harrison's actually got a really good streak going. But I think Harrison is carrying that team a little bit. The others will, I'm sure, improve their score over time.
But Harrison just keeps posting Yakuman in our chat. We have a little chat where we talk about how our games are going, and I just see Harrison Yakuma double, even a double Yakuman. I mean, it is
I haven't won
three-player.
a single Yakuman hand this season, and it's 3-player, and I don't know why. I haven't
think
won
I
a single
got one.
57 games, and I've not won a single Yakuman hand.
I think I got a Daisangen. I'm pretty sure I got a Daisangen somewhere along the lines. It's funny that like I can maybe remember if I got a Yakuman, but like I've witnessed so many because you know 3-player there's just a ton more Yakuman in there.
I will admit, I've seen people deal into Yakumans. I haven't dealt into one myself. I'm pretty proud of that actually. I was tempo for I think Suwanko twice, but I've not won a single one so far.
I haven't dealt into a Yakuman in this team league, but recently I did deal into a double Yakuman in 4-player after reaching. That was outside of the team league, but like I can remember it because it was a dealer one too. That's 96,000 points. The game was immediately over. But
sometimes it happens. Sometimes it's out of your control. You've got a really good hand, you reach, and there's nothing you can do. You know, we might even see it today. Who knows?
Right. But I think that's enough about our team because we are here to commentate the pros. Of course, World Riichi League.
One other event going on.
Yeah, that's
the World
right.
Riichi League, of course. Sorry, I thought we were going straight to the Sankei Shimbun.
Okay. It'll be held in the first weekend of March. That's this weekend, simultaneously over 3 major Mahjong hub cities in the US: New York, Chicago, San Francisco. And they're essentially the pro circuit, the World Riichi professional players. That's also starting to move alongside with this. So there's going to be a lot of upcoming news for the US.
Yeah,
in the month of March.
There is a US-wide event that you can take part in 3 different locations. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone has a great time this weekend.
Yeah. And so check the website for player info and to wish your friends luck because it is, I think, too late to register at this point. But you probably will know some people who are coming out to try and get those last spots.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm sure if I look through the list, I'd see lots of names I recognize. But yes.
Today's
we're here
focus,
today.
that's right, is the Sankei Shimbun Cup.
Sankei Shimbun. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna get memorized.
Yeah, the same tournament, same team. Sankei Shimbun is the new sponsor for the cup. They're a Japanese newspaper. They were kind of the parent company of Yukan Fuji, which is unfortunately out of circulation. It happened, I think, a couple months ago, but they were gracious enough to keep sponsoring the tournament until the administration, all the back end stuff could be handled. I'm not super privy to what was going on there, but it is the Sankei Shimbun Cup now, and we have
the same 2 leagues.
That's right.
We have the Center League in Tokyo and the Orb League around the rest of Japan. Tokyo, we have 64 teams split into 16 groups of 4. Each group is battling the other 3 teams in their group, so it's just the 4 teams on their own over 10 sessions, and the top team from each group and the top individual players advance to 2 different final tournaments. We have the Orb League as well, which has 5 groups, but since they're all in different locations, their games are more spread out, and each region has their own schedule.
And of course, we have the WRC Team League, entirely international roster. Gemma is captaining from the UK, while Jenn from the US, Mio from South Korea, and Lika from China are playing as members of the WRC team. Of course, Jenn, Mio, and Lika all currently residents of Japan. I think that makes it a lot easier to play.
Yes. Imagine having to take a flight for every game would be interesting. It would be interesting.
Of course, us being this late into the season, I think our viewers probably know that by now, but you know, if we have any new viewers today, very exciting. And
yeah,
hopefully
we see the WRC team play at least once more before the end of the event.
That's right.
That's what I'm hoping. But yeah, who are we watching today? We have Team Riichi City, Team Maika, Team Mahjong Bar R, and Team Mahjong Otomedan. And we'll be seeing in the East seat, representing Team Riichi City, Hikaru Yamamoto from Real Mahjong Unit. In the South team, representing Team Maika, we will have Natsumi Negishi, representing from Nihon Pro Mahjong Association. In the West seat, we have Maika Tanizaki, representing Team Bar R from Saikyo Sen, Nihon Pro. And finally, in the North Seat, Momoe Tabuchi, representing Team Otomedan, also from Saikyo and Nihon Pro. So, before we start the game, I guess all we have to do is look at the scores. For Riichi City is really far in the lead, actually, given how close to the end we are. It's going to be a tough ask for the other three teams to come back from this.
Yeah, this being session 14 finished. That means there's only session 15 and 16 left. And the teams don't play every session, so this group number 15 here, they either have 1 or 2 more sessions to go. I think it's 1 session. So Maika really has to go all out here to try and make up that loss. And
yeah, I'm going to expect a lot of conservative play, I think, from Team Riichi City, because they don't necessarily need to win anymore. They just need to make sure they don't lose by too much.
Right.
So maybe they'll accept a second place if it's a decent second. Maybe you don't have to necessarily fight for first. There's a big first place bonus if you can get that. But with that big of a gap, maybe just try and make sure you don't have a really bad fourth.
Exactly. And that being said, as we get into our first game, give us a thumbs up on the stream. If you're ready for some pro mahjong, subscribe to the channel. We have just hit our big goal for last year over the last stream. I guess the last stream was a while ago, to be honest. It was about a month ago. But we have a new goal set up for this year coming through. WRC will have more events coming up even after the Sankei Shimbun Cup. We've got the playoffs coming up, and then of course the finals after that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can keep updated as we get that schedule to you. Because the schedule, even on the player side, has been a little bit flexible, I guess is the best word to say. Schedule has been changing, so to make sure you don't miss out, subscribe to the channel. And here we go into game 1.
Yeah, I have these stats on the players right now, and one thing I should mention is, because we were talking about that individual final, Hikaru and Natsumi from Riichi City and Maika, both in 13th and 14th place going into this game. So I was saying that Riichi City might want to take a back seat, but perhaps they want to get 1 win. Oh, WRC! I think that's
Yeah,
it's me.
there she is.
Our own team member spotted in the background there with the characteristic WRC jersey. Very good.
Yeah, the WRC. Yeah. As a Canadian, I appreciate the hockey-looking jersey.
Very good. But yeah, but say whoever wins this particular game out of the two of them probably might be solidifying their place in that individual final. I think they're both doing pretty well, though. I think was it top 16? Can't remember now. But yeah, 13th and 14th.
Yamamoto and Negishi both neck and neck, 13th and 14th, as you mentioned.
Literally 1,100 points separate the Su's players right now in their individual scores. But let's get right to it.
Alright, so opening up, nothing too unusual on their first discards. That's a really nice draw here. Yeah, this is a really nice second green dragon for Negishi. Never mind the Sanchoku. We'll see if the green dragon becomes a triplet or whether she goes for Sanchoku and uses the green dragon as pair. Both valuable and reasonably fast options in this case, especially with that extra 5 there. It might happen. She actually drew. Nope, it's gone. She wants the Dora.
That 2 is the Dora. Yeah, exactly. You want to try and get that value. What's with that call? I guess you have to sort of assume you don't have that much time to make a hand, right? If someone's going to be opening up quite early.
Yeah, that is fair.
And I guess the other question is, why did they call? Is it because they're holding Dora? They're holding 1. We know that. But the other player might be thinking, maybe they've got 2. Maybe this is secretly a 3-hand hand.
Yeah, Dora seems pretty useful here.
Can you tell I've been playing too much Sanma? Of course they've got 2 Dora. Why else would they open their hand?
Right.
Although, 2 players Ishanten right now.
Yeah, when you're playing between 3 and 4 players, the risk analysis is very different. The chances of a tile dealing in, especially what they call musuji, or it's like a middle tile, or even an edge tile, where the suji tiles have not been discarded. Essentially, musuji just means it's not suji. the chances are so much higher in 3-player, as well as the live honors, the Shonpai honor tiles, fresh
Exactly
honors.
so.
Those are dangerous as well. Even more so. They're still dangerous in 4-player, but the rate is just not as high because there are a lot more tiles that there could be waiting on with all those Manzu from 2 to 8.
We did see Negishi push a Dora through, though, so now we've seen one go through. We might see the... no, not yet. I was expecting it from our dealer as well.
Yeah, I think she just wants to
That
use
is
it.
Tempai, and we do see a reach.
So no Sanchoku here. And as we can see, she did give up on the 3-4-5 to hold the Dora Tuso, and even the Dora Tuso was discarded to get to the Stempai. So in the end, just looking for the green dragon. Doesn't have it yet, but can win off it right here if somebody picks it up.
Exactly so. I think there's still one pin. There's still one pin left though, so you don't necessarily need the green dragon. You might want it for the extra hand of value, but
That's right. Not worth too much
refuse to
without
win
it.
if it comes.
Yep, and I wouldn't refuse it either. I don't think it makes sense to refuse it. Although maybe with the score point.
Okay, so it's just reach Pinfu, but a nice hand to attack back with.
Yeah, our top 2 players individually, as well as our top 2 teams, already showing why they're the top. Striking right off the bat.
Third reach.
Oh, huge
This is just
opening
reach
hand.
Dora 1, but still. Did I miss something? It's just reach Dora 1, right? Yes.
Yes. Oh, 10.
Oh.
Pi? Is it 2, 3, 4, 5,
The 3
6,
of
6,
Bamboo
7?
is
No,
safe.
not quite. It's not quite Tenpai yet.
I think the 3 of Bamboo is safe, right? It was played by the most recent reach player.
Yeah. Oh,
But
there it is.
Tabuchi. No less.
Order 3. That's 4 Dora.
I said it's just. This is the wall having a laugh at my expense. I said it's just Riichi only.
Well, Riichi Dora 1, but then
Dora.
another 3. Yeah, even the other players there have to recount the score because there were just so many extra points. You have like, oh wait, also Ipatsu as well.
Yes,
like you mentioned, and so it's up to Haneman. Riichi Sumo Dora 4. Well, I guess Riichi Sumo Dora 4 would be Haneman, and then the 1 extra Ipatsu shouldn't matter. But maybe there was just a Riichi stick left on the table or something, but taken care of now. Tabuchi, not only the 12,000 from the hand, but also another few points from the Riichi sticks.
Tabuchi's our Mahjong veteran. She's been in the pro for 10 years.
Ooh.
And is a manager of one of the other teams. The speaker, or spiker. I'm sure I pronounced that incorrectly.
Oh, the Mahjong Bar
Speaker.
Speaker.
Manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Speaker.
Speaker. Okay. Awesome. But because they're not playing directly each other, there's no conflict of interest or anything like that, as far as I'm aware. Unless they move to the final, in which case, we'll see.
Well, I mean, Spica is not in their group right now, so.
Yeah, they're in Group 8.
Guess that makes sense.
Either way, though, taking the early lead.
Oh, what a big hand.
This is why Riichi's so powerful. It's why we call it Riichi Mahjong, right? You can always flip through Odora and get Ipatsu. That's 4 extra hand, just because you had the bravery to take a little bit of an extra risk.
Yeah, I mean, the hand really wouldn't have been worth much if it hadn't been for Riichi. Of course, it had no Yaku, so it didn't have as much of a choice in that one. We've got 2 quick calls on the table already. Neither hand looking too expensive, both looking like washout kind of hands.
Hand is Tenpai and can accept Dora, but that's about it.
Right.
Still fast, 5-8 weight.
Better to win a little bit than to lose a lot of points for someone else sumoing.
I guess the ideal situation for Team Maika would be if they could make sure Riichi City get 4th and somehow pull back first from this. That's kind of what they need. They need that to happen 2 or 3 times.
A quick run there from Tanizaki on Tabuchi, getting some points off the first place player in this game. And putting herself in 2nd place going into her dealership.
Yeah, for personal reasons, I'm cheering on Tanizaki.
Mm.
I'll state my bias. When I read in the thing that Jen prepared that Tanizaki suffers from MS, and knowing people who suffer from that in real life myself, I had to cheer for you. You've got this, Tanizaki. I believe in you. She took a
Multiple.
break for 5 years.
That is quite a long break, but I mean, it can be a debilitating disease sometimes. So kudos to her for having the strength to come back and play. She had to
Not
build her
just
way
come back
back
and
from the
play.
bottom.
Yeah, exactly. She earned her way back at the very top of top professional play. Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm always gonna be a bit biased towards
let's see what she can come up
that.
with here on her dealer turn.
Good luck.
So far, Tabuchi looks like she's going to increase her lead, one away from Tenpai with a very quick Pinfu looking hand. Tanizaki's hand needs some time to come together here. Oh, sorry, Tabuchi's not Pinfu. She has the triplet of South.
The seven stages Druid does help though in
Yes.
making Pinfu like shapes. We'll see. I think that maybe it won't be fast enough this time. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe the South becomes a
Very
pair,
great.
but she also has the pair of 8 on already, so.
I mean, I look at that and I see 7 pairs. I don't think it's going to be 7 pairs, but I see the possibility. Got a pair of 4, pair of 5. Nah, it's not 7 pairs. Okay, second that force. Okay,
Right.
we can confirm. But maybe if there was another pair that we drew and nothing else showed up, I would have gone for it.
Tanizaki with a 9 is gonna keep the 9 man here.
I think it's a safety play.
Yep. Seems
Sometimes
like
when
it.
you look at your hand, you see it's not quite getting there.
In the meantime, Yamamoto looks like 2 away. She pulled the Dora earlier, that 5-pin. Very difficult Dora to get. Negishi has been holding on to a 5-pin Dora in her hand the whole time. That's quite useful. Here we are. Tabuchi makes Tenpai. She's got a Dora of her own. But there are a lot of 4-pin gone already. Of course, one of them is the Dora indicator. So she knows one of them is gone, but a lot of them are in other players' hands. As we can see one right here. So we're really looking for the 7-pin.
Tanizaki, though, getting to Ishanten with that draw. For her own pin. If she's willing to push it, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think as the dealer, make a lot of sense. 1 is not exactly the tile, but the safety from the 9-man she kept earlier in the hand paying off here.
6 did get played, so that rules out the 7-8 shape, of course.
Right. Well, 5-man.
Yes. I think that was proven safe.
Yes. At least to the Riichi player.
Yeah, true.
Does look like these other players are all moving forward, though. Safely but surely, until they draw a very dangerous tile. But so far, all players still in this hand. Nobody completely folding yet. It's another pair. It is going to be hard for Negishi to finish this hand.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 tiles left to draw.
This is a dangerous spot. No, there's a lot of tiles left in the wall.
I meant for 7-pin.
Oh, right.
On this reach here.
By
the way, we have 2 players Tenpai now.
I believe Tanizaki decided to go for the Dama-10. The closed
I think
Tenpai.
So. Yeah, she's chosen not to reach.
Even as dealer. She just wants Pinfu. Maybe she's hoping to draw Dora, or maybe the point is if she draws Dora.
The 9 of bamboo is safe to the reach player, so if someone does draw the 9, so I could see you stealing that, sneaking it through.
Yeah, that makes sense as well.
Although there aren't many 9. No, there are no 9 bamboo left, actually.
This is an upgrade. A potential Tanya. That's going to be enough for her to go in with the extra points. Needs to get the 6 though.
There are no 9s left, or 4 have been played.
Well, I guess she can see that then.
We need the 6. We see 3 of them in the last 2 players. All 4 of them are accounted for.
All 4 are accounted for, so someone would have to discard it.
I do think there's a very decent chance this just goes to exhaustive draw, and we get to see a do-over with 2 reach 6 in the pot.
We'll see here if Yamamoto leaves the hand. I mean, technically Yamamoto still won away, but this is a very hard hand to complete. And I think
Yes.
mostly she's prioritizing safety, especially considering how far ahead her team is in the overall standings.
Oh. But the last 4-pin shows up, and I don't see another flip.
No.
Yeah.
It's the 3-mon, so no 4-mon in her hand for Uradora. 4-mon was the Uradora. But yeah, we
Pretty
were
rough
talking about
punish for
getting the
Tanizaki.
7-pin. There was only one 4-pin left in the wall, but the 4-pin showed up. Or sorry, that was
Honestly, when it comes to a 2 versus 0, the 2 is infinitely more likely to win.
right. I mean, technically that was a deal-in, but it came out of the wall because the player was in Riichi.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think the reach was. It's tough, right? When you see 4 of your tiles already discarded, it's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know what the best decision is sometimes. Sometimes you have to go for it because you're a dealer, and it's tricky sometimes.
I mean, on the other hand, it guaranteed her one more Han, right? Like, she's not winning on the
Exactly.
9-so side. She's always winning on the 6-so side for Tanya.
Yeah, it was Tanya Pinter Reach,
Hmm.
I think, with 1 Dora. Like, it was valuable.
No, she
Just
didn't quite
unfortunately,
get the Dora. She had the 2-3-4 pin when she was Dominant.
I missed that. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about her being able to move to use the 5-pin. And the Dora this hand is 4-pin, just a little bit lower.
Indeed.
There's 1 copy here in Tanizaki's hand, and 1 copy here in Tabuchi's hand. 2 left in the wall. Yamamoto could use one of them.
I think Tabuchi is like that kind of Ishanten, that one away. It's just perfect when you just want to go for something exciting. Also, are we seeing an offensive attempt from Tanizaki? Hang on.
I think so. Cutting a Dora that early, it's almost surely Kokushimuso or 13 Orphans. And on the other hand here, Negishi is playing what looks like a very slow half flush. A fairly safe hand she's playing there. Low chance to win.
It might be just hard countering the orphans, right? Because Negishi, if she deals into that, it is the end of the world.
Yeah, well, that helps. That extra south might help her actually make her hand.
Speaking of Yakumon hands, it doesn't have to be orphans. 5 dragons in the hand, and we've seen only 1 green played.
That's true.
Maybe there's a world where this becomes big 3.
If Negishi's holding on,
maybe there's a world where this becomes big 3.
Yeah, Negishi's holding on to that green dragon. We'll see if she is tempted to discard it if she gets to Tempai. I mean, she's being tempted right now. She's getting closer and closer.
Well, the white passes for sure, so I can definitely understand the green coming out at some point in the future.
Right.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be big 3 because we have just seen all the whites go.
The only question is, how does Tanizaki finish her hand? She still needs all the other shapes.
It looks like she is committing to 13 orphans because she cut from the 9 of character pair. Which I wouldn't do if I was going for the opening, the calling things.
With a hand like that, you need all the shapes you can get if you're not going for 13 orphans. What a strange draw here. It's a good draw, but so many different options for Tempai. Or not Tempai, but Ishanten for 1 away. This is a efficiency exercise, but of course with basically 9 discards, 8 discards for each player, you also have to take into account what's on the table, what the players have in their hands.
From a pure value perspective, not looking at anything else, I would have cut the 7 of characters just because of the 4, 5, 6 miniature sequence chance, but maybe I'm too greedy. Yeah, I'm far too greedy. Okay, that's fine. I just thought I'd reassess that in the back of my mind.
I mean, at the beginning, I think the chance at big 3 dragons kind of made sense until you saw the white dragons be discarded.
Yeah, that makes sense. The question is, what does this hand become, other than just folding? I guess folding is fine in that situation, but now we've cut our pairs.
It's fine, but is it good? Is it enough?
Yes.
It's not going to be enough, obviously, on its own, but we only have one more dealer per player, like 1 more round. East-South.
That's true.
Only
Tabuchi has the Tempai, waiting on 3, 6 of pins.
No Riichi.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, right?
He's got to be afraid of this
She's in the lead and she's
half-flush.
dealer.
Nobody else knows just how slow Negishi's half-flush is. I don't even think this is going to happen, considering the remaining tiles. But it still has that bluff potential, right? And that's a huge bluff.
Yeah.
I think that is a 100% bluff maneuver. Like, I don't think
Definitely when you're paying attention, seeing a Sozu discard at the end of second row,
yeah,
for sure.
I mean, it's also possible she's playing safe against the Damaten because it's
Unfortunately,
the tiles that Tabuchi has discarded as the dealer do look pretty dangerous. Like, she's cut Sozu, and there's another one.
and there's that Sanshoku I was talking about, 4, 5, 6 potential if we get the 6 pin. Sorry, I just wanted to point that out. Even though we have seen 3 of the 6 pins, no, for all 4 of the 6 pins, so there are only 6 pins left to draw.
Yeah, so I think Negishi is not falling for this Damaten, this silent Tenpai. She's been able to sniff it out. Yeah, and Tabuchi not reaching could have been worth like a fair bit more, I think. However,
Yeah,
she's
I
well
would have reached
ahead.
the second. I got that Sanshoku upgrade.
Yeah,
I didn't even get the Sanshoku this time. We got the 3, not the 6 of
right.
pins. But still a very big win for being dealer, of course.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it comes down to manners of her team just being so far out of the points, and her personal score also not really being up in the, what's the word? The individual rankings, not being able to make the individual tournament.
I'd like to offer a counterpoint, though.
Hmm.
There are at least 3 games left, maybe 6. If she gets plus 60,
Right.
then she'll be within 100 points.
Yeah. So I think
So
from
I'd go for it.
from a stats point of view, I agree. I think it's probably worth going for. If this was the first game of the season, I can see maintaining your first place. You do the Domaten, but I think with so many points that you need, it does make sense to just try and get all the points that you can possibly get. It's always an interesting decision that she decided not to reach you. Maybe she was just scared of the half flush across the table that we had mentioned from before. Didn't
Honestly,
want to deal
that would
into
make
that.
sense. Yeah, and we did see most of the 6s discarded already. I think.
Right.
So I think 2 of the 2 were discarded in 2 in other players' hands. It might have been 1 and 3. But the weight was pretty poor.
Yeah.
Would have paid off hugely though had we reached the second we got that upgrade. It would have got the Ipatsu too.
Yeah, I think it would have
Anyway.
been like 18,000 as opposed to 78. But
Exactly
those
so.
are big what ifs.
They are big
She's
ones.
still
Yeah,
well
exactly.
ahead. Hasn't had to risk dealing into the half flush there and losing a lot of points.
Exactly so. This again. You can tell I've been playing a lot of Sanma. Go for the risks. Take the risks. Score more points.
Yamamoto has been on her way to a half flush, but she's holding that one Sodora, and Tabuchi here just draws another one Sodora. So a lot of one Sodora that don't really fit into our players' hands.
I do think Yamamoto will be willing to play the one so eventually.
Yeah,
If she's getting good draws.
Negishi will probably chi because she's next in line and she has 2-3 so in hand. She's already made a call. So it'd make a lot of sense for her to grab that tile.
We see Tanizaki confirm a pair instead of keeping the potential 1-3.
Right.
There. That brings the pair count to 4. I don't think necessarily 7 pairs is the answer here, but 4 pairs nonetheless.
7 pairs is one way for her to use the one so though as a pair
That's
way.
true. That's true. Speaking of pairs and or triplets.
Out it goes.
Okay, the one so goes out.
Yeah, as expected. It's a chi and now Tenpai, Negishi Tenpai with an extra Dora in hand for 1,000 more points.
Oh, another pair.
Oh, number 5. And as mentioned, she cuts the 6-7 shape from the hand. So very likely going for 7 pairs there.
I think honestly at that point when you're 1 away, you have to go for it, right? Especially if you get Dora 2.
Well, kind of revealed that 7th a little bit, but it's okay. 1 away.
Oh.
1 away.
One away from 4 concealed triplets.
This would
Could it be done?
really lock down the season for Riichi City if she could get the Yakuman here.
I for the record, I have not seen this game before we started. I have no idea if something exciting is about to happen. I did make a joke about. Okay, there we go. So I did make a joke about a Yakuman potential at the start of the stream.
Right.
But I didn't know.
Defeated by Tuhan. No Yakuman here for Team Riichi City. But
a huge win for Negishi.
Yamamoto is now in third place.
Yeah, that's actually lost Negishi points relative to Yamamoto. That's a good point.
I think you probably still take the win though. Like even if you had half an hour to think about it, because the points will help you in the end of the game. You don't know what else could happen. There's still a whole half game to play.
Yeah, in an ideal world, you win points off Yamamoto next, and then you have even more points, and they have even less. It's fine.
Right, Yamamoto is the dealer here, so Sumo would take more points from her, regardless.
Exactly so.
But
although
that's the flip side.
This is a very strong start. Yes.
Yep. Yamamoto can win more points. The advantage of being the dealer. Usually, if you're asked, "Would you like to be the dealer or not?" you usually say yes.
My question is it South 4 and am I ahead?
Right. Yeah,
if it's all last and I'm ahead.
The next question is, do you have the Agariyame privilege in the rule set to be able to win, to stop the game if you're winning?
That's another good point, yeah. Being stuck. Oh, I keep winning points, but the game's not over.
Yep. Every time...
the person to my left's going for Yakuman hands only.
you have to decide whether going for your quick two-han hand is worth it here, because it'll give everyone another chance. But if you don't go for it, or if you go slowly, and then you give someone else the chance to win a mangan or something like that, and maybe you regret not going for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so in this rule set, there is no Agariyame. You cannot stop after winning if you're in the lead in South 4. So you do have to balance those things in mind. And in the same way, a lot of players will choose not to declare Tenpai if they get a draw in South 4 and they're in the lead as dealer, so that they can end the game and not give anyone any more chances.
But that, of course, is that the game will not ever go to a West round.
Right.
So
no sudden death. This is another Dora for Tanizaki. Another Dora for Tanizaki. This could definitely vault her into second place here with a good win. Yamamoto's hand has been solid, but it hasn't progressed. She's just been making sideways moves.
Exactly so. I am a little bit concerned about the speed of this Ishanten, though, for Tanizaki.
Tabuchi's been one away for a little while as well, and now Yamamoto can catch up.
Oh, that's a very interesting draw. I was thinking we go for Itsu, but no. All simples is the choice that we see here.
I think she must feel it's too slow, considering the board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so far, she's not getting much help. Is that it's not a call. She just knocked over a tile. We're just chilling here. She actually needs that 3-pin. She actually needs another copy of the 3-pin she just knocked over, so that might be tough. There's a small chance Yamamoto would give that 3-pin. Oh, is she gonna end up waiting on the 3-pin? Not Tenpai yet. Oh, she doesn't want to wait on the 3-pin after knocking it over. Oh, there it is. Tanizaki gets one. I think you got to take the Doras here. I don't even think 5 is that good of a wait.
How's the 9 of characters looking right now?
9-mon looks pretty good. There's a number of 8s out in the discard piles. There is one 9-mon, I believe, right here.
Yeah, 8 being so close to reach is a little bit of a warning sign that other players might be picking up on, but we'll see.
Yeah, so Yamamoto did finally draw to Ishanten, to 1 tile away from Tenpai. We'll see if she can get there. Not the tile. Not the tile.
It's actually one chance, right? We see 3 of the 8s in discards, so a player is going to look at that and think, well, the odds of them having 7-8 if we see most of the 8s. What are the odds of that? Quite low,
Yamamoto
right?
pulled a
Maybe the 9 is
3-pin.
safe.
Oh, after this 2-pin discard from Negishi. I wonder if Yamamoto's going to be super scared to discard that 3-pin after seeing it getting knocked over from Negishi. Oh,
I can definitely
this
see
means
that.
she
That
doesn't
is
have to.
Tenpai.
This means she doesn't have to. No, it's not quite Tenpai, but it
True.
means she can
It
use
would
the
have been Tenpai if
3-pin
we
as
cut the 3.
pair.
Yeah.
And she's actually pretty scared by the 3-pin that got knocked over.
I think that's incredibly reasonable.
But this is the 6. That's Tsuji
The
to the
6
3.
does come out.
Tabuchi's going to risk it. And we've got 2 Riichi on the board.
Now, last time I said it was just Riichi on its own. We hit Ipatsu and Ura 3. So could it happen again for Tanizaki?
It's not a 6, it's a 9. That's not a 6, it's a 3. Tenpai! And able to keep
3 Riichis.
Yeah, able to keep the 3-pin in hand. 4-7 still wait for Yamamoto. So this is a dealer Riichi. This is big trouble for Negishi. Like the Norths are probably safe.
Like I looked at that, I was thinking 5-6-7 Sanshoki, but no, we drew 4-5-6 in characters, so that's not quite landed. But it's still a really good Tenpai.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
Oh, gonna go with the 2-pin, which is pretty safe, to be fair. It came out, I think it's actually 100% safe.
There's the last of the 8 of characters, meaning that no one can possibly have 7-8 anymore.
Right, no winners yet, but with 3 players in Riichi, I don't think they're really thinking too much anymore.
And we do, in fact, see
Tabuchi.
What did she draw?
Yep.
I missed the draw.
I didn't see the draw, but I saw her flip some Uradora.
Exactly. Actually, that was 2,600, maybe just one. Then 2,600 points.
Yes,
but
I think it was
3 Riichi sticks is very significant. When the Riichi sticks are more valuable than the actual hand itself.
Right, even after Uradora.
And this is what I was saying about Negishi, right? What if Yamamoto were to lose more points and get in 4th place? Now we've got a 4th-second split.
That's right. Yamamoto is just under Tanizaki right now because 1, the Riichi that she put out, and 2, the dealer Oyakabari penalty. Dealer's got to pay more when somebody. Oh, yeah.
So Negishi is the dealer. Her favorite Yaku's Reach. Everyone calls her Negi-chan, and she's a Wonso fan.
Oh, Ooh. Bird fan.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can see that because you often see the bird drawn with like the negi, the Japanese onion, or the green onion, as most English will translate it to, the negi.
In that case, that's absolutely that's fair.
Like if you've seen a certain monster bird holding a leek in its hand or in its beak. There's actually more than one now that I think about it. There's one really popular, but there are others from other smaller works. Okay. So maybe that's why she likes the Wonso so much. It matches.
You know, if a tile was named after me, or if I was like had like a commonality with that, I'd roll with it.
Yeah,
for sure. Yes, as dealer now, can she pull her team up a little bit more? She's in 2nd place, you know, a very, very small second, right. Plus 0.7 as it stands right now.
The 8-mon, when my friends and I first looked at it, especially in the calligraphy that's common on the Mahjong set, like, so the Mahjong set numbers are a little bit stylized. They look like brush strokes. But the more Mahjong sets you play, you notice that almost all of them use the exact same font, the exact same brush strokes for their numbers.
That, yeah.
A lot of them, it's like there's a print, like a brand or a mold of it somewhere, and a lot of them just use the same brush strokes. But the 8 looks like a mustache. Like
I always thought it looked like a mountain.
Yeah, just kind of looked like a mountain.
That's why I memorized it. Like a little mountain.
Yeah, but with the 2 separate strokes, and the color, I always thought it was like a mustache.
Okay, that's cool.
So we're like,
but yeah, one thing I will say is So I actually have a mold for mahjong tiles, and
Hmm.
occasionally I use resin to make my own. Right.
Ooh,
Uh,
exciting.
in my mahjong mold, I think the character tiles, I think 5 and 6 look really weird. Like it doesn't actually use that font, and
Interesting.
so
Yeah, I've seen
when
a
you look
couple
at
that
it,
don't use that font, to
but
be
yeah,
fair.
it's going to be a surprise when I eventually show that to someone. But yeah,
Yeah. In the meantime, while you're
yes,
talking about mountains, Yamamoto, who's got mountain kanji in her last name, she's actually picked up a pair of the birds, the Onso, which are Negishi's favorite tile. But more importantly, in this hand, they are the Dora. Looks like Yamamoto might be going for 7 pairs, so it might be a little bit slower, but it could be a huge hand if she gets it to pay off here, getting her into second place, and more importantly, ahead of Negishi and cutting her dealer off.
he's gonna have to use it as a pair though, because we do see the remaining 2 of the one of bamboo in other
Right.
players' hands. So
Yeah, she's one away though. One away from these 7
yeah,
pairs. So it looks like using it as a pair is just fine for her.
I could see a world where she reaches on the west, and the west eventually comes out from dealer. I could see
Right.
it,
I agree. Still no
but the
tempai.
8, not quite.
Going to cut the Suji, the 4-pin discard with the 1-pin, so not trying to set a Suji trap there. I guess seeing a 1-pin come out made her think it's a little less likely to form.
I think that's
Ooh,
fair.
getting rid of honors for Tanizaki. There are some white dragons on the table though, so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, no triplets here. The half Riichi, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, just
matter
just be like
because it's
right to one
wrong.
angle.
It doesn't matter because Tabuchi gets the Dama Pinfu. Dama Pinfu. The closed tempai Pinfu. You've been
When you were ahead.
around. Yeah, if you've played enough Mahjong with the Western community, Dama Pinfu is almost a pejorative term sometimes. Oh, that guy
Honestly,
Dama Pinfu.
I agree most of the time, but this is one of those few exceptions. I think it's actually a really good decision, right? Because
Mm,
you are that far ahead, and just moving the game from South
right.
2 to South 3.
But in the same way we mentioned in East 4 when it was her dealer turn, there was definitely the possibility of scoring a lot more. Although in this case, maybe Yamamoto would not have dealt in,
Yeah,
of
the difference
course.
between one hand and 2 hand, or one hand and 3 hand
Right.
is very
But
it's
you're
very
you're
significant.
just you're just talking about how Riichi can get you more than one Han.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So it could have been a lot.
Ooh. Okay, I was interested in this, but yeah, we do have once again another 7 pairs attempt from Tanizaki. This 7 pairs seems to be Tanizaki's hand today. It's not doesn't really work out most of the time, but
Yeah.
another attempt made. She does have a Dora. She cuts the 4, set up a Suji
I
trap
don't
on
think
that
we've
Dora.
seen it win yet from
We
any of our
haven't,
players today, but she does have the Dora.
and it's going to look very safe if we ignore the fact that it's Dora to the player next in line, Tabuchi.
Right.
Not only is it Suji, but we've ruled out. She can rule out 2, 3 as a possible final shape because she has 3 of the 2s in her hand right now.
Yeah. As long as you have a Dora pair as the dealer with your 7 pairs, you can get a Haneman on a Sumo, and then you can get a Baiman with 2 Urodora. A very quick
Exactly
way
so.
to get a huge amount of points.
18,000 is, well, it's second place
Yep.
in one go.
Yeah, 18 or
But
24,000
luck is
off the
going to be needed.
Urodora. Just, are they all gone, the 1-pin? Or is there one left in the wall? I think there's one
Just
left
gonna do
in the
a bit of
wall.
counting. Yeah, I think there's one left. But she
Tanizaki's
has to draw
got
tempo
one.
first. It's the issue.
Tabuchi's got one. But Yamamoto does not have one. So there is one left in the wall. This is got triplets and pairs for Yamamoto.
Problem is the curse of 7 pairs is that when you're one away and there's only 3 tiles you have that you need to make a pair
Right.
with,
Yamamoto
so hard
calls
to draw.
West, and that is her Yaku, so she doesn't even have to go for all triplets. Doesn't have to go for Toy Toy. Speaking of triplets, Tanizaki
Okay.
triplet of red. Gonna be hard for you to
Could
use the
try and
Dora.
switch the hand over to all triplets. Could try and switch the hand over to a pure double sequence. Although we do see most of the 7 of bamboo here. blocking up that 6-6-7-8-8 shape. Unfortunately.
5,
Oh,
man.
that's
Is that what she needs to discard the Dora? It is.
yeah. I don't like it, but I understand it.
I
And I
like it.
think it's
I like
probably
that
fine.
move. I think if you hold the
Yeah,
Dora here, you slow yourself down too much.
exactly. Yes, it's cutting a lot of value, but the speed is needed, especially as dealer.
Yamamoto holding on to her Dora, though.
Yeah.
Negishi going to hold on to hers because it's already in a completed shape. But we will
Now, the
see.
real question is,
Tabuchi also keeps holding on to it.
yeah, I think honestly, it's pretty safe, right? I know
Hmm.
it's Dora, but it's pretty safe. We
Yeah.
see it's discarded by a lot of players. She's got 3 of the 2s, so it's unlikely someone's got 2-3. The one player who does isn't using it. We can see that right here.
If she's
Obviously, she can't do
lucky,
that.
she'll be able to have the 1-2-2-2 shape as her last shape. Not
Yep.
lucky enough.
Didn't happen. But Tenpai on the 3 of characters, which we just see drawn.
Oh, good play from
Stays
Yamamoto,
mad now.
avoiding the deal in. Discarding the safe Dora. Whoa! This is
No,
Tenpai.
pure sequence active.
She's gonna go for it.
All right, reach red dragon pure double sequence.
There's also the option to go for the 7 pairs weight, but I don't think that would
was
have
a
been
choice,
as good.
Yeah.
Yamamoto actually just discarding the red dragon. That's a fresh tile. Nobody's seen it.
Yeah, that's brave,
Yeah.
actually.
I wonder
Although
what
Yamamoto is in last
up
place,
to
so
here.
I understand the risk taking.
And the dealer is the person right ahead of her who's in Riichi, so she doesn't really want her to sumo either.
Exactly so.
A pair of white dragons, but it's Furiten. Already discarded one.
It's safe.
Enough.
If you aren't going to fold, now's...
Yep.
Yeah, because we see the 2 remaining white dragons discarded, so...
I think she's trying to check if there's the off chance Tanizaki has a Kokushi Muso, because her discards are a little strange.
True.
They're not...
Really considered
they don't really look like
Wolf.
Kokushi Muso, but like... once in a billion, that's actually Kokushi Muso. And you're like, let me double check, just to be safe.
Yeah, just be absolutely sure. I think that's fair. But now we've ruled it out, and that's those 2 safe tiles used.
Right.
Also, probably point out that we have 2 players waiting on the same tile right now, or that 3 of characters.
Here comes the draw. She was thinking about calling 6, 7, 8 there. 6, 7, 8, so rather.
I think honestly, playing for Tenpai when the scores are this close is very reasonable, especially in South 3, right?
Tenpai for Yamamoto. She's basically been playing for that herself, but I think Yamamoto has Yaku. She called that West at the beginning.
Does have that West, exactly.
She needs that 7-man though, and I don't see it coming out.
No.
There might be one in the wall. I cannot remember.
And we do see some folding here. I think now's the time to do that if you're going to.
About 1 draw left for each player. 4 tiles in the wall, maybe 5.
But we see a sumo.
Big one. Huge
see an
sumo
error
for
flip? We did not.
Tanizaki.
But still,
No,
Riichi,
there.
sumo, red dragon with a pure double sequence. That's a nice dealer mangan right there for Tanizaki.
I think Negishi's okay with that as well, but she also needs to at least get back to second to really have a shot at overtaking Riichi City in these last sessions for the overall season.
When I mentioned, hey, these 2 players are close to the individual final, and they end up in 3rd and 4th.
They started out very strong. Both of them
They
had come right out of the gate with quick Riichis, or in the lead. But
yeah, Tanizaki with a pretty exciting start, actually.
Right.
I'm seeing Mentan Pin, yeah.
Tabuchi just scoring a ton of points when it came around to her dealership in E3, E4.
The power of flipping Iridora. It's just it's skill. It's skill. Just draw the tile. Just flip the tile you need.
Right.
Getty Patsu and there are 3. Just it makes everything easier. I wish I had that power. that technique.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I wonder what it means if you can just keep flipping Uradora on command. I think some people will start to get a bit suspicious.
That's definitely fair. Yes.
So this hand here, we're going into South 3, Tanizaki's dealer now. And Tabuchi's made some calls to try and quicken, well, one call to try and quicken the hand. But it
We
looks
have
like she
yet
has the
another.
fastest hand. None of our other
I
players
can't
are
tell if
going anywhere.
Yamamoto is going for orphans or if she's just folding from turn 1. But we
Right.
do see a lot of very middle tiles, very, very risky tiles getting played early. It could be this hand is bad and I'm folding.
Hmm.
Or it could maybe we could be going for a half outside hand here. Like, I could
Yeah.
see it. Maybe.
And Yamamoto's hand got good, even though she was folding.
Yeah, I mean, half outside's only worth 2 hand, right? 1 hand if you call. But
Right. But the fact she
it's
had
not well
6,
great.
7, 8 mon, it does seem like it was just folding and maybe you'll get 13 orphans after.
Yeah.
But then
I
she
think that's
actually
fair.
drew so many good tiles, but her hand is just in such bad shape. I don't know if she can turn it around and go for regular hand anymore. Looks like she's kind of trying though.
I think honestly, if nothing else, you can fold from there, right? But you don't want to fold in last place in South 3. It's never good. But it does seem like it's mostly just a battle between Tanizaki and Tabuchi here.
Tabuchi, one away.
Exactly so. But our
Tanizaki
dealer
also one away.
also 1 away. Okay. The 4 of characters is usable
What?
for a land.
What? Also one away now. Negishi. She goes for it, discarding 7 mon. I guess she was thinking about maybe 7 pairs or triplet type hand.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Riichi only, but
Right.
I guess there's nothing wrong with Riichi only if you're the first person to get there.
Yeah, Tuso is Dora here. Doesn't really look like she has a chance at using it. Now,
Or potentially 789 mixture sequence would be quite an interesting thing, but that's
oh yeah, she's
too far
thinking
away.
about it.
Yeah.
She's thinking about it.
That's Tenpai though. The reach does come out. 6 is the reach tile, and the weight is right around that 6.
Yes.
The 5-8.
It's just Pinfu Riichi, but solid weight. And, a reasonable chance to
We're
hit
talking about
Uradora.
reaching your pinfus.
Mm.
And yeah, absolutely. Especially from 2nd place. Maybe from 1st, if you're in Tabuchi's position, maybe you could Dharma that, but I think just putting the stick down, deciding, hey, I'm going to be a problem today. You have to figure it out, because I'm causing you issues.
So Yamamoto's going to go for it, though, in last place. She wants to get past Negishi. That's her #1 goal, I think. If she can pass Negishi here in this game, she'll be pretty proud of herself.
I believe that's totally fair. The other thing is, even if she just wins 2,000 points here, that puts her within Mangun range. A Mangun run on anyone in South 4. So she doesn't necessarily need value right now, although she is folding with the White Dragon there.
Another 6? This is another chance to reach. But I don't know if that weight is really any better. I mean, she's just thinking about folding. Yep, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Negishi does not want to give Yamamoto any points or get any closer to her score.
That makes sense. I would also be folding in that situation, I think. Oh,
it's a tough spot for sure.
Yeah,
I might have reached it already, but if not having reached it yet, I think might also make that fold.
Oh, what a tough situation. Nothing here's really that safe. I think we're keeping the 1 pin as a safe tile because we played the first 1 pin, and therefore the other one might also be safe. But this whole situation has changed too much since then. You can't rely on it.
Right.
Still.
Triple 6s. That's another chance for Tenpai, and this one is a little more reasonable. It's a really good weight. 3-pin is still not as safe. It's Tsuji to the Riichi discarded tile. It's always a little bit scary.
Yeah, it's always a little bit scarier when they do that because shapes like 2-4-6 happen quite often, right?
Yes.
And you cut the 6, thinking, aha, I set up a Tsuji trap, but it was the reach tile, so
yeah, this is a very tough spot. The hand is pretty solid here, but there's definitely no guarantee of safety on the 3-pin. So this is a big risk. Is she willing to take the risk? Bam! Riichi!
All right. Negishi's in to win.
Yep. Fortunately, it is a pinfu weight, and so Tsuji does work on those.
It doesn't work on the pair weight. There is a pair sort of less valuable, but also, 3-sided, right?
Right.
I'm pretty sure. I didn't miss that, right?
No, I meant
Yeah.
Tanizaki's reach, where she had to discard the 3-pin against the 6-pin Riichi tile. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Tsuji trap there was no Tsuji trap. Tsuji was valid there. Everyone's 3-pin comes out. We'll see if anyone can get their winning tile. That 4 doesn't hit. 8-pin does hit. And so it's a sumo for Tanizaki.
Do not flip Uradora. The Ura is the 2 of characters. Pair of 5s, but that's not 2. Still a nice haul here.
Well, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. Negishi's kind of okay. I mean, she probably would have wished at least the game moved forward if that, because we're back in the same spot. Yamamoto gets another chance to overtake her. Closer. That's right, because she reached.
I know 1,000 points doesn't seem like a lot, but they all add up, right?
Yep. Manga.
So how many more wins could our dealer collect?
Oh, are we running in close to time? Nope, looks like it's a tile issue or a table issue. Didn't feel like time was up. I wonder how much time is left.
The timer is 80 minutes, and then you finish the hand after 8 minutes and play one more.
That's right. I just meant on this game. I wonder how much time is left. It still doesn't feel like... I think it is a technical issue. Hopefully no chombos here.
Well, while we wait for them to figure out their issue, to figure out the small technical difficulties, let's talk about the player representing Team Riichi City, Hikaru Yamamoto. I did say she was in 13th place with a score of 177.6 going into this, but she is an actress in TV dramas and movies with recurring roles since she was 12 years old, namely Science Research Institution, which is an amazing translation. I'm sure it sounds much cooler in Japanese. But it's been running for 24 seasons, and she still appears in that show. Started making YouTube videos for beginner Mahjong players before she became a pro, and has won the Mahjong Watch Cinderella League on her first year as a pro. So we have a winner. And a professional actress, too.
Yeah, that's quite exciting.
One of these days, I'm going to have to actually kind of see if I can find a way to watch these shows all the professionals have been a part of.
I thought you were going to say one of these days I need to find a way to become an actress in Japan.
That would be an interesting goal.
Yeah, that's the plot of like a bunch of new anime and manga. Guy becomes professional idol in Japan, or professional actress, professional whatever.
I'm sure I could pull that off. I say with no confidence in myself at all.
But
back to Mahjong. We are restarting South 3 for the 3rd time here. Tanizaki's hand is looking really good again.
Yeah, and Tabuchi once again with her big lead, trying to make some quick calls and advance the game forward.
She doesn't have a confirmed Yaku yet, but she's hoping that the Green Dragon will come.
Yamamoto's hand is not bad either here. Her chances of pulling out of last place starting to look better and better.
Yeah, exactly. So we said the gap closed by 1,000 points.
Right. She really
8,000 is the number.
She really wants that Dora Forso, but instead Tanizaki's going to try it.
Yeah, Tanizaki getting that 3-sided weight. Losing the pure sequence chance, but that needing the 3-pin is it's too slow. Oh, and I said we had
is that
to wait
an
for the
undo?
3 dragons.
Oh, she forgot to take the tile. It's the TV rules. You're not allowed to discard before taking the tile when you're on the broadcast table.
Yamamoto is tempo with this draw.
This is.
But yes,
I think this is as good as it gets. She really wants Dora here.
Yeah,
she really wants Dora. She's gonna go for it. Yeah. I think it's too hard to expect Dora. You get Dora here, you don't even have a pair anymore. Because now you have 4, 5, 6. So it's pretty slow.
Where's the last of the Norths, though? Do we have a chance for a closed Khan in reach?
So. I think
from Yamamoto.
I think the last North is still in the wall. Yep.
So maybe
it is.
Yamamoto reach Rinshan with an extra Dora or 2. It would be very exciting, right? She's gonna have to draw that North to make that happen, but it could happen.
Yeah, so far her hand isn't super exciting. I think that's why she was waiting for Dora, but chances are just so low. She decided, let's go for it. Let's draw North. Show me the last North out of the wall. Boom, boom.
Cool. Yeah, so it feels like everyone's rushing now, though. Especially with the she managed to get the Green Dragon after the call, so it did come in the end. It paid off quite well to call that early. Oh, a second Dora here for the dealer.
Pretty tough spot. Awkward. Is she gonna go for it or not?
What would you cut here?
Something like a 5 so or an 8 so if you really want to use both Dora. They're both quite dangerous. 5 so close to the Dora. 8 so a little safer, but still nowhere near safe. Got that last place
played by Tabuchi, but that's not the play we're worried about.
8 so, okay, there it goes.
Okay.
Safe and sound for now.
Oh, the 8 so proven safe a turn later. Right. It's always the case. Going through that stress, and the reach player draws immediately after.
Dora!
Reach!
This is huge Dora for 3. Dealer. Yep. Tanizaki could get first place off of this. Could get first place.
We see the 7 get cut, not the 3. Actually, oh wait, even if the 3 did get cut, it would have been a head bump, right? Oh. Oh, it's 2-5, not 3-6.
Yeah,
okay, my bad. So 2-5 versus 3-6. Manzu very unsafe right now. I know who I'm cheering for, but I've already said that.
There's a bit of a nail biter here.
Oh, a chance for all simples, but no, we were in reach. We can't change our mind now.
Right. Oh, Manzu. 3-6 Mon and 2-5 Mon. 3 Mon!
3!
Ooh! What's the flip?
Yamamoto gets the win and flips
Finds one.
Miradora.
Finds one. It's not that big of a hand, but still puts her well within Mangan range to overtake Negishi in South 4.
A path has opened, but can you follow it to a third or possibly second place? As Tabuchi is our final dealer.
The last dance. Oh, the last dance.
Shouldn't say the last hand. You never know. Tabuchi might get 6 in a row.
That's true. All last is not always last. It's a little bit of a misnomer. Horas.
Although I will say that the start doesn't inspire confidence. Looking at those the opening tiles there, especially considering everyone else has really good starts here. This is strong. This is less strong, unfortunately. But Tanizaki could call the White Dragon and try and go for a fast hand to secure second place. I think that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah, Yamamoto. I wonder what Yamamoto can do here. Doesn't seem to have that amazing of a hand, especially in a format without red 5s. It's going to be hard for her to make up the necessary points. Oh, 7
the gap
pairs.
Is less than Mangan, thankfully, but
yeah, 7 pairs is always a way to make up the necessary points. Maybe that's her plan.
Will anyone win a 7 pairs hand today? We've seen people try.
we've seen 7 pairs Tenpai as well.
We have, that's true.
Just not getting there in the end.
Ooh, a triplet here for Yamamoto. Although, yeah, where's the value? I think you still just have, if you get to tempo, you still probably have to reach, right? Even if it's not ideal.
Yeah,
you
just hope for Uradora or Sumo or both. Ipatsu. There's all different ways to just find extra Han.
Exactly.
That are probably faster than forcing your hand to make it with Yaku.
Oh, another side grade, but
it's 4 pairs now. It's time to go for 7 pairs. The 7 pairs, normally it's a decent bit slower, but the upside on this hand is that 7 pairs, you reach it and you're almost surely going to make the score.
We have a bit of a hedge here. Oh, that's a huge draw though.
It is.
Yeah, cutting the three of characters there. That kind of like hedges your bets. You can still draw the.
There's a pair for Yamamoto, so it's working out. She's got the triplets though. Oh, but Toy Toy would have to be a direct hit.
Tenpai for Negishi here.
Yeah.
Is she willing to take this reach? She sure is.
She's going for 2nd place. I mean, she could stay ahead of Yamamoto just by winning a small hand, but her team does need a lot of points overall in order to make up the difference. So I think that's what she's thinking about.
And also, if she's trying to get into that individual final, she has to keep at least a positive, because they're minus 30 here, slightly less than 30, but minus 20, 26.
Tanizaki with a 369 Mon Tenpai. Are we just going to see 9 Mon here from Tabuchi to end the game? Nope, not here.
Tabuchi doesn't really need to worry that much, I would say. I would just attack. I don't think anyone's going to beat me with a hand that valuable. But still trying to win, trying to score every point available, and I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, the value of the hand might not be as much, but the weight, the 369 weight seems amazing here. But it doesn't work out!
It doesn't work. Does Negishi get out of 2nd place?
Oh, the Uro is also 1, so don't think that's gonna do it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
So Tanizaki getting a very decent 2nd place, but Tabuchi, the hero of this game, plus 61.2.
Ooh! What a score.
Carrying those points, taking them to the bank. Very well played, though, from everybody here. Tanizaki, nice. Small positive.
Big points there for Tabuchi.
Yeah.
And
between Team Riichi City and Team Maika does close, but not by as much as it could have. As we move on to game 2.
That was quite a match.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I agree. Tabuchi made a good run. It's going to be tough for her team to catch up, but you know, Team Maika has a little bit of hope now. Riichi City taking the 4th place there.
True. We did see that Euroflip as well, but
yes,
I don't think that wasn't the only reason she won. She won through the rest of the hands too, right?
That's right.
I know that you can say, "Oh, I got lucky. I got Riichi, Patsu, Ura 3," and that's great. But at the same time, the gap was way more than just that one hand. So she earned that victory
for sure.
But yeah, for game 2, I will be tagging out with the wonderful Jenn.
Yes, nice to hear you again after our bit of a break from the name change and all the fiasco here at the Sankei Shimbun Cup.
Welcome everybody to the Sankei Shimbun Cup.
Yes.
And of course, if you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe to the WC YouTube channel. We love to see that. It makes Jenn happy specifically, I'm very sure.
I get my dopamine from you guys pushing the thumbs up button.
Well, if you see Jenn in real life, give her a thumbs up as well too. It'll also trigger her dopamine receptors.
It's true. Yes.
But Jenn is here to commentate the second game. Hello, Jenn.
Hello. Did we talk about like why the name changed at all?
A little bit. But if you want to make an official explanation.
So Yukan Fuji was a sports newspaper, which is kind of like a tabloid. A little bit more sensational type of news. They call them sports newspapers here. Not like lies, but just like more like gossip type news. And the Yukan Fuji has ended. It is no longer in print.
Right,
As
we
of
did mention.
January, I believe. Yeah. So Sankei Shimbun is one of the big 5 newspapers. In big 3 maybe even in Japan. Shimbun means newspaper. Notice the M.
I did notice the M.
The official English name is with an M. Which is one reason why Gemma and I like to say tempai with an M instead of an N. Linguistically, that is correct.
You can
we have gone with the.
You can get translators started for hours about how things should be romanized and translated.
Yeah, linguist translators. So, anyway, the Sankei Shimbun was the parent company of Yukan Fuji. So Sankei Shimbun had a number of smaller publications as well as, and Yukan Fuji was one of those. So like traditionally the sports newspapers have a more of a affinity with Mahjong. But Sankei Shimbun has stepped up and taken over the sponsorship for the league. So we are grateful for that. And that means it's going to be kind of a bigger event going into the next season. So it's actually pretty exciting that a bigger newspaper would take the sponsorship for it.
So big news.
And it means there might be like different rules about which teams can play and stuff next year. So we will update that as we get the updates.
Speaking of which, the WRC team, we hadn't mentioned too much about them yet because you are, as a member of the WRC team, will be able to fill us in a little bit more. We have the Session 14 standings for the WRC team, and this group has been close basically since the beginning of the season, and it's still close.
Yeah, so Lika was actually scheduled to play all 3 games today. Originally, Mio was scheduled to because she needed more games. She had the fewest of us. But she had a different obligation. And so Lika was going to play all the games so she could aim for the playoff spot, the individual playoff spot. She's the only one on our team with a shot at the individual finals. But she was feeling ill, so I ended up running to the studio this morning.
Superhero Jenn.
So she played 2 games. She fought through 2 games, and I played the 3rd game, and we'll find out the results of that tomorrow on tomorrow's broadcast.
So this is where they were before today's battle. You could actually see some of the WRC players on the side tables when they do the quick pan before the game starts. But WRC, they're in 3rd place, but just 1 game can get them into the 1st place slot. So we will see just what happens tomorrow. But for this now game number 2, we've got Natsumi Negishi representing Maika in the east seat. On the top right there, Nagi Yonesaki, the south seat for Riichi City. On the bottom right, our west seat, Kotoko Sonobe for Mahjong Bar R. And in the north seat, representing Mahjong Otomedan, Momoe Tabuchi. Let's get into it.
Yep. Negishi is from the Nihon Pro Mahjong Association, as well as Yonesaki. Yonesaki is originally out of Kansai area, actually. I think she had recently moved to the Kanto area. And the other 2 players, Sonobe and Tabuchi, are both from Saikuisen. So we have no JPML players today, actually, at all on the broadcast.
Oh. A rarity.
Yeah, there was one RMU player and the rest are NPM and SPM.
Right. Well, let's see how they play in game number 2. Ooh. So Tabuchi coming back again. She did play in the first game.
And Negishi as well playing.
Yes, that's right.
Second game for today.
So we have 2 new faces and 2 returning faces for game number 2.
So Negishi, the dealer, started out in 14th place and got a negative in the first game in 3rd place, but still I think keeps her in the running for the playoff seat.
Yeah, I think 1/3 place isn't too bad. Maybe that's why she's getting this next game in to try and improve her score. Maybe she'll even be playing a 3rd game, who knows. But Riichi City not giving their, I guess, top player another chance, but it's also because Yonesaki is also very high in the rankings, 24th place. So both of them want games to make to make the playoffs. I guess they're spoiled for choice. It's a luxury decision.
This is their second to last session. All the teams will play in the final session next month.
So six games, and we've seen one, make it 5. 5 games left, including this game, which has just barely started.
Just barely started. Yonesaki has a pair of the prevailing wind to the east.
Yep, which is also the Dora.
Sonobe a triple of white dragons, so she doesn't even need to call that one.
Negishi here has the single copy.
But the third one came to Yonesaki now.
I wonder if we'll see a con. It is Dora.
Sorry, but you don't really see open cons in pro games hardly ever, unless they're already calling for other tiles.
Yeah, and
Even when it's a Dora.
Yonesaki is one of the Riichi City players whose team is so far ahead that she doesn't need to take the risky plays here.
Oftentimes when you have a triple of the Dora in the hand like that, the rest of the hand is just crap, but not in this case.
Right.
Yonesaki is just one away from ready.
Yep. And if she doesn't con the Dora, it's going to be a very big surprise if she can win off of a Riichi or maybe even a Damaten. It would be an even bigger surprise. Doesn't even have to Riichi. Both her score and her team score overall don't call for necessarily reaching. Yeah, she's just gonna take Tenpai. Yeah, so
Way, except 2 of the 9s out already, but still a very good weight on the edge, open-ended on the edge.
looking at Mangan here. Oh,
And reach from
Tabuchi.
Tabuchi, waiting for the 4-7, so we got 2 bamboo weights on the board.
Good draw for Negishi as well. We'll see if we have a 3-way battle. So far it's 2-way. Maybe even 4-way battle if Sonobe can catch up. Not quite the tile that Negishi's looking for. Gonna keep pushing though.
And Yones, I was mistaken before. There were actually 3 9s on the board, and one of them is Tabuchi's Genbutsu. It's in her discard, so one of the other players might discard it easily, especially with all these 8 bamboos on the board as well.
Right.
If it comes, though. Has to come. It might be very deep in the wall.
If it's too deep in the wall, we can't reveal it.
And the 6s are all in people's hands, it looks like, so very thin weight. We'd call it a thin usui weight for Yonesaki.
Well, that's a good draw, but I don't know if Sonobe... Okay, she's going to keep going just a little bit. Just a little bit. Interesting draw for Negishi as well. That 6-0 deals in. It doesn't do it.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah.
Negishi is
At
going to
least
hold off.
almost definitely a fold there. She could get some other tiles, but oh, there's the
There's
last
the
9.
9. Uh-oh.
And she disregards it. Yeah, it looked safe to the
To the
like I
to
said,
the
it was
Riichi player.
safe to the reach player, and all the 8s on the board. It looks like it was probably okay as well for everyone else, but it was not.
The hidden Dora there. A big collection.
And Yonesaki couldn't see that all the 6s were being used. You could see Rika there in the corner. He's wearing the WRC uniform.
That's right. We were talking about her before the first game started because we saw her as well.
I'll give a spoiler alert. Somebody at our table got a Yakumon. At the WRC table.
That sounds exciting. Especially for a group that was so closely contested. That probably shook things up hugely. Because only the first team moves on unless the second team is very close to the wildcard spot.
Right. Yes, exactly. So they decide the wild card on who has the smallest difference between the first place team
4
and the
pairs.
second place team.
We saw so many 7 pairs attempts in the first game. None of them actually won. We didn't see a single 7 pairs win, but so many people tried for it. There were a few tempai as well. 5 pairs? 5 pairs.
Yeah, I think usually see more pairs hands when there's no red 5s, so it's interesting that there weren't any in the first game at all.
We counted at least 5 attempts for 7 pairs. But I think it was closer to about 7. 7 attempts at 7 pairs. 0 successes. We'll see if we can get a success here in the second game.
It looks like that's pretty much the only thing Sonobe can go for.
It's worth a lot when it happens. That's another pair for Negishi, but I don't think she's going to go that route. No.
Yep, she does not take the pair.
That's a pair.
Basic strategy calls for. Basic strategy generally calls for only keeping 2 pairs, unless you have 4 or more. When you have 3, most of the time you're supposed to get rid of one of them.
Oh, a 5-pin discard? She's thinking about it. Uchi. Don't need
Yeah, she kind of has 6 blocks there.
Right.
She's keeping the 5 in case something stuck to it, but upgrade for Yonesaki to a double gutty. Yankan-chan. My favorite poker term. Double gut shot, double gutty.
Right. Pretty rare to see that, I think, in poker. But it happens. Maybe that's why it's your favorite, because it's rare. Yonesaki Reach! Oya Reach!
It's Oya Reach, and it's also a Suji trap reach. She discards the 4, waiting for the 7.
Yeah. Still not an easy tile to get. But what if Tabuchi discards it here, being fooled? No, not this time.
Yeah, probably not from her. Her hand is so close to ready that it'd be hard to imagine just randomly discarding the 7 when she has some other options still.
Only matter if she's folding for Suji. This is Tempai. Gonna go on the 6-0 for the Dora. Oh my goodness!
Third one.
Negishi triples up the 6-0 as soon as Tabuchi waits for it. 6-7-8-9 draw? That is not Tenpai, but is one away for Sonobe.
Yeah, and it's the tile that Negishi, that Yonesaki needed.
Ooh.
So I think that means, is there maybe one left in the deck?
Yeah, two
See if
Riichis
one
with
in-
not the greatest weights.
There's 1 7 character in each of the other player's hands. Only Yonesaki doesn't have one.
A 7-pin? Would you rather have the double sequence 1, 2, 3 pin, or would you rather have the 8-pin weight from 789 that just came out? Gonna stick with the pure double sequence here.
I mean, there's like a couple of 8 dots on the board already, so it's pretty rough weight there. And a 9 is safe to the dealer, or to the reach player and dealer. So the dealer is the reach player.
Oh, 6, 7, 8. Each 3 Dora.
With the triple Dora, she will not hold back. Push that hand.
Kind of seems like she has the best weights out of everyone here too. Not good enough to win yet though. The 5-8.
Nobody has a tricky weight there brewing.
Yeah, the 5-8 isn't that good because a lot of 5-8s are in other players' hand. 5-8 mon.
The 6 weight is not good.
There's one though. Dora 3. Mangan here for Negishi.
They just traded points back. Both Dora 3.
And Team Maika looking again to overtake Riichi City. They have 3 games after this session. Then it's a lot more doable because it is a big barrier to overcome. But so far they were ahead of Riichi City in the first game, even if it was only a little bit. So they caught up a little bit there. And right now they're ahead again by a very small amount of Riichi City in the second game.
Yeah, so they really need to put Riichi City down in last place if they want to catch up.
But Hikaru was mentioning in the first game that the Oka, the bonus for first place, is actually pretty large in these rules that we've been casting since last year. Is it September, October?
We started in July.
Wow. So long ago.
Yeah.
This season has been going for quite a while.
Yeah, all of the past sessions are up on YouTube if you want to watch.
That's right.
Go back and check out how the teams did before if you missed it.
Yep. Even some WRC. I think WRC is coming back onto the broadcast table before the season ends.
Look at this flush hand for Yonesaki. She's keeping the 5 since it's so close to the Dora.
Yeah, I wonder if it's more as camouflage for the hand later on.
It's possible.
Quite a draw here for Negishi. She's on a run, maybe hoping to see some good luck continue. Because this is Negishi's second game. The first game she came in 3rd place, I believe, but it was still above Riichi City, so ground was made. Oh, 9 gates maybe?
Wow, so now she's just thinking about the timing to discard that 5 dot. The risk is that if you draw the Dora later, you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So you'll have to discard it once exactly when other people's hands are getting ready and dangerous. Sonobe gives up on that open-ended gut shot.
What is
giving up
that? It's useful.
not quite 9 gates, but very useful.
Yeah, one away.
Looks like it's a full flush and not a half flush
Right.
even.
Wonder if she will Riichi. Yonesaki definitely does not necessarily need the points. So Damaten or closed Tempai, silent Tempai is quite an option.
Yeah, she does kind of want the points for the playoff, the individual playoffs. So in 24th place, any
That's
points
true.
she pawns the 4 for a
Yeah.
Tempai. Waiting
6
for the
only,
6.
but maybe it comes out here. Dun dun
It
dun!
does.
Is that... No, it's not full straight, not Itsu, so only a Mangan. But a Mangan is still quite a few points here in this very close game. Puts Yonesaki back in the lead.
Yeah, after she just dealt in Mangan to Negishi as well.
Yes.
So with the individual playoffs, the higher you finish in the regular season, the later in the playoffs you get to join. So it gives you a better chance at making the finals. So if you're in 24th place, then you have to play more games to make the finals than, say, if you're in like 10th place.
Right. Kind of like the play-in tournaments where the lower brackets have to play more matches in order, and the higher brackets get seeded later on in the bracket.
Yes. So at this point, any extra points for Yonesaki is going to help her in the playoffs.
Yeah, that kind
On the other hand, if she loses points, it could push her out of the playoffs.
That kind of
That's
format is pretty popular in Japan. I noticed a number of pro tournaments, and not even just in Mahjong, in things like sports. It's common to have like previous champions have they get a seed that's further along in the bracket. But it's not really so common here in the West to have teams get seeded along. I know like the NBA started doing that with their play-in tournaments, but other than that, you don't really see it that much.
Yeah, in this case, it's a little bit different than the seeds of other tournaments. It is true that the previous champion usually gets to come in either doesn't have to play the qualifier or comes in maybe best 16 or sometimes even just the final table to defend their championship, like in the Hoi. But yeah, in this case, it's just how you do during the league season. So the champion doesn't actually get seeded in. I think the last champion was Rei Kawakami, and she was actually having a rough time this season, so she won't be making the playoffs.
The rough time here for the Dora on this hand is all the one pin that are in players' hands get discarded. There's still 2 more left in the wall, but it doesn't look like any player really has a hope of using it here. You might see 7 pairs from Sonobe though, but she's already discarded a 1 pin. So even she doesn't want it.
It's so hard to use when you don't have...
Negishi here could use it, but she is looking for Tanyao, the all insides hand, so even she doesn't really want it that much. 7, so...
The Dora is just one Han, so...
Yep. But 2 Dora is 2 Han.
True.
1 away
and there's
here.
2 out on the board already.
Yeah, 1 away here for Negishi. We'll see whether she uses Dora or she uses Tanyao. So far, she's using Tanyao. Oh, very interesting decision. You have the 4-4-4-6 late. Doesn't want it though. Just maximum Ishan 10 here.
Yeah, it was 4-4-6-9 weight even. But
Right.
she already had a pair in the 8 dots, so she chose to let it go. This would be a 5-6-9 weight with that. The 4-4-4-6 plus the 6-6-7-8 shapes together.
And Negishi.
I love those shapes.
Negishi having the 2-3-4 mixed triples a little bit. It's not quite there yet, but she has a skeleton. She has the shapes to make 2-3-4 mixed triples. right here coming up. She does have the Dora though, as mentioned, and yeah, she's gonna get rid of it for a safe tile.
Yeah, it's safe to the other players and it doesn't help her get a Yaku, so out it goes. And Tenpai for Sonobe, she will reach with the middle weight.
I actually wonder, Red Dragon tune here only looks like it's one out, so it's not super safe, but safe enough for her to discard it. Oh no, it was two out. Yeah, fairly safe tile. There's moving quickly here, even though one Riichi has happened. No hard decisions yet. Although this seems like a hard decision, but I have no idea what it is. And she's gonna
She got
fold.
this. She drew a 6 dot, but the edge tiles I couldn't remember. So Yonesaki's dancing around one away from ready, but just can't Tenpai.
2, 3, 4. That would have been Tenpai.
And there it is, Yonesaki. She's waiting for the 3-6 dot. It was a perfect chi tile for her.
Interesting draw. It already has the pair of 8s though, so the 6, 8, 8, 8, similar to what we previously saw. Not that good. But yeah, Negishi not willing to fight this. Hand is too dangerous.
Yonesaki, after calling 2 tiles, now her hand is very short. It's very hard to fold once you have this few tiles. And since she was pushing, she was not folding, so oftentimes a player will push there, but she decides to play it safe with the 4 dot. That was a safe tile to the reach.
Yeah, not too many tiles left in the wall. I think there's enough. Still about 20-ish.
Oh, and she could Tenpai again if she can discard the 5.
Ooh, guess it's
She
kind of a what else
does.
am I gonna do here?
Yeah, I mean, she ended up drawing and keeping the actual weight of the reach, the 4 character. So that's kind of a genius move there. Worked out perfectly for her. That would have been her draw, she thinks, but she would have dealt in before she drew it. So
Right. Tough spot here. Is she gonna fold again?
and
8 so Suji? Yep, 8 so Suji. It works out
she
here.
probably felt frustrated like that, even though she played it perfectly and it worked out perfectly for her.
Ironically,
She won't know until
Sonobe.
she watches it later.
Ironically, Sonobe actually does have a Suji trap. She has the Formon. Oh, but nope, not yet. Yeah, she's got the 1 and the 7 mon in her discard waiting on Formon. So if Yonesaki tries Suji again, she might end up dealing in.
She's back to 1 away.
Looks like we're going to make it through to a draw, unless Sonobe can draw this, or Yonesaki runs out of safe tiles and attempts another Suji discard.
She discarded the 5 dot before, so she'll probably be able to discard that one at least.
Right.
But that game, the hand ends. And now Yonesaki can say, "Oh look, I was amazing."
You can say it, but you still have to pay your no ten bapu, your no 10 penalty. No matter how good you feel. You still lose points on it.
Yeah, right there, I just pat myself on the shoulder.
Right.
Good,
As
Jenn.
Negishi, our South 1 dealer here. Her second and final chance this game, although who knows, maybe she's even going to play the third game. A lot of times if they play both games, might be playing all 3. We will see though.
Yeah, I did see Makoto Tenne her teammate in the studio. She was doing commentary.
Ooh, exciting.
A lot of times the teammates do commentary. pretty much all the times with the former Yukan Fuji and currently Sankei Shimbun Fuji. Sankei
Right.
Sankei Shimbun Cup.
Sankei Shimbun, Sankei.
I did not do my reps to practice saying
Done.
it.
Yeah,
like
we were talking about that earlier. We had to get it in Sankei Shimbun, especially with that M sound, so the linguists on our crew wouldn't nitpick us. But we got nitpicked anyway, so it was all for naught.
It's true. I am a nitpicker, but even though I'm the one messing up the name.
Well, here we are. Let's see. Tabuchi has a quick hand, but unlike the previous game, she's not ahead by 20,000 points here. So a little less incentivized to go for the quick shutdown hands. Noticed even in the previous game, Tabuchi doing a lot of Damaten despite how many points her team needs. She was just trying to hold on to the first place in that game.
Yeah, first place is pretty much everything. Once you can't get first place anymore, that's when you have to start thinking about the points. Making a tough decision, the middle weight where you're using one of them or the side weight. That is not very upgradable. And she discards the side weight, the 1-2 character. Starting with the 2.
Yeah, there's always an interesting decision when you're cutting an edge weight, a 1-2 or an 8-9. Sometimes you want to start with the inside tile. Sometimes you want to start with the outside tile. It's a matter of safety. If you can get the more dangerous tile out early, it's also the matter of, well, what if I get the 3 or the 7? Maybe I should start with the outside tile so I can have a decent shape. And there's a number of factors that go into deciding even what seems to be just a small decision like that.
Another thing is if you discard from the inside tile, then it usually gives away the 3 is mostly safe to your hand. So if you start with the 1 and discard the 2 later, then it kind of makes the 3 look more dangerous because you could have drawn the 4.
Right.
And gone from a 1-2 shape to a 2-4 shape and then drawn the 5 and gone to the 3-6 shape. So a 3-6 weight with the 4-5 shape.
I wonder
So it depends also on how tricky you want to be to the other players.
I wonder about 1-2 and 4-5. You have 1-2, 4-5. With the 2 first or the 1 first? I think a lot of people still cut the 1 first just in case they get the 2, 3, 4, 5 shape, so that makes sense. Sixmon out from Negishi's hand. Exactly what Yonesaki's looking for.
She'll go for the inside hand.
Yeah, she does have 2 Dora.
In general, when you guys are playing at home, if you want the 3 to look dangerous, meaning you're not waiting on the 3, then you can start with the 1 discard and discard the 2 later. And if you want the 3 to look safer, meaning you're probably going to wait on the 3, then you can start with the 2 and discard the 1 later.
Yeah. The only danger there is the 2 is a more dangerous tile if somebody else gets tempai. That's the matter of offense versus defense. And Tabuchi full offense with 2 calls finally makes tempai here. Sometimes it's offensive defense. Offense has a form of defense because if you win the hand, you defend other players from winning the hand. Everyone looking very closely at these tiles.
And it's like, well, gee, still went away from tempai though. It's a very corak and tips kind of calling.
Whoa. 999 mon. Not exactly what Negishi. That's right, 999. So not exactly what Negishi was looking for, but she'll use it. Ching.
Tabuchi waiting for the 1-4 is right around the Dora, so other players are definitely going to be wary of that. Although Yonesaki, with her pair of Dora in her hand, probably won't stop the 1 or the 4 if it comes.
Triple sevens now. What's the move? Yeah, 8-9 coming out. You can see Yonesaki has set up her 7 in the middle of her 2 8s, so that if she cheese 7-8, there's no extra tile left over at the end. Makes it a little less obvious. Although now she's put that north there.
I think it's more for the pon, maybe, instead of the chi. Because if you chi with the 7-8, then the other one's going to come out anyway, so it doesn't really matter where it is. But if you pon one of the other tiles, you can be more tricky with how you discard from the 7-8 shape.
And so the 7 looks like it's on its own.
Right.
Neech! A little bit of a think, a little bit of a head scratch. So nobody decides to go for it, even against the called tiles. Even with the short wall remaining. About 15 tiles, maybe. Is there a lot of calls here? 7s! Not gonna do it.
Yeah, Yonesaki is out of the hand. Tabuchi usually can't fold, though.
5! Big 5-mon for Negishi, but this is a tough spot.
It's temp. She takes tempai.
3 so late, but no Riichi. She cannot roan. Only sumo. And saves 1,000 points, I suppose, here.
So nobody draws it. Just reach to Mo. That's about it for that hand.
Yeah, no Uradora flip
And
here.
Tanyao also inside hand. So 1,000, 2,000. 1,000 from the non-dealers, 2,000 from the dealer.
Bunch of bonus points in the middle and 1 Honba to add a little bit more points to Sonobe's total there, putting her just into second place above Negishi.
Yeah, Negishi had to pay the extra 1,000 there as a dealer. Yonesaki will take her second turn at dealer. Yonesaki enjoys sewing.
Ooh.
I do not understand that sentiment at all. I'm glad there are people who enjoy sewing. I'm not one of them.
I suppose it can be relaxing. You're just working on a pattern, a problem, weaving in and out. I'm not a huge personal fan myself, but I think I can see where the novelty, or not even novelty, some people do it forever, but where the enjoyment comes from.
Yeah.
Pair of green dragons for Tabuchi. Not bad, not bad.
I find that kind of therapeutic thing for me is doing stuff on the computer with that, like spreadsheets and charts and stuff. I imagine very many people enjoy that.
The spreadsheet. No, there's a spreadsheet crew out there. Have you ever heard of spreadsheet speedrunners?
Oh.
So there's originally there was just one competition, but now there are multiple competitions every year. And what they do is they come up with a certain mathematical formula or data manipulation that needs to be done, and they give you a spreadsheet with a ton of data, and you have to do it as quickly as you can.
Seems like that would negate the therapeutic aspect of it.
Well, they've been doing it so long that they need some new challenges. There's another pair here.
Yeah, the challenge would be challenging, but maybe not. Maybe not therapeutic.
Okay. Sonobe, interestingly enough, seems to be the fastest hand. Didn't see it at first because Sonobe does have a few poor weights. You have inside weights, single type weights. Yeah, but she is one away from Tenpai, and she's the only player. I don't even know who's 2 away from Tenpai. A lot of our other players still look 3 away from Tenpai right now. Oh, she's gonna actually step back to avoid discarding Dora. Fortunately, avoiding Tabuchi getting the call, the pawn on the Dora. Tabuchi getting
I like
closer to
this.
Tenpai herself.
Yeah, I like that draw for Tabuchi. The 2-2-3-3-4 open-ended weight with a possible ipeiko shape. Also, she has a shot at all pairs. We'll see her hand in just a second right here. 4 pairs there, but also a chance at a normal
Right.
sequence hand as well. And the allergy season starting in Japan.
Uh-oh.
Feel the nose getting itchy.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Whenever you travel to a new place, your body hasn't been exposed to all the pollen and all that stuff. Sometimes you can get really bad allergies. But even when you have been in a place for years, every new season, sometimes it's worse or better.
Yeah, it was the opposite for when I first came. The first, like, maybe 15, 18 years, I didn't have any allergies.
Oh.
All of a sudden, about 5 years ago, started, and it's been terrible. I feel very sorry for not feeling bad for the people with allergies until now.
Uh-oh, karma. Karma's striking.
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
see what Yonesaki does here. 1 away from Tenpai with a potential monster hand.
I think she'll get rid of one of the pairs probably, but depends. Hard to see what's on the board.
And Tabuchi's Riichi is already on the table. There was a call, I think, from Negishi.
Let's get rid of the
And deals
7, but
right
it deals
in.
in.
That's Uradora as well. That's a huge amount of points for Tabuchi.
Yeah, Riichi
12,000?
on.
No, 8,000. Mangan.
Yeah, she wasn't dealer, so Yonesaki was the dealer.
Right.
So just reach with 3 Dora. Gives her a Mangan hand.
Big points there. Tabuchi back in the lead. Is she going to go 2 for 2 today for first places? The long road for Mahjong Otomedan. But perhaps signs of hope if Riichi City takes another 4th place. Maybe even Mahjong Otomedan could pull this out.
Yeah, the scores are so close. Anybody could get first place here. And you see with just like not even only 2,100 points below what she started with, Yonesaki, if she ends here, she loses 27 points for her team. So you can see the big swings with just a small score difference.
Right. One man. Tabuchi not looking for the flush here. Just looking for the quick hand to advance the game forward. It can be tough when you're the last dealer, though. You advance the game forward to your last dealer, but you cannot you cannot end the game on a win. You have to.
Right.
It's funny. You have to lose or go to a draw in order to end the game.
Yeah, I saw that on the broadcast table I played on. That was my dilemma.
It's not a natural thing to want to lose a hand. And sometimes you can't afford it when the points are so close. You can't afford to risk losing the hand and falling underneath. So you gotta win, even though that means you're gonna give your opponents another chance to overtake you.
Exactly. And I was overtaken in that game.
Ugh. What do we have here? Negishi The pair of easts, that doesn't do much in this shape, in this round, in the south round, but she does have the Dora 8-mon. Same way Yonesaki's got it. It's kind of sticking out of both of their hands. Like, usable if they get a 7-mon, but 7-mon is the Dora indicator, so it's hard. Is it gonna go away? No, she's gonna cut the 8-9, so... Out comes the south, which is the wind of the round. Nobody calls it, so she can breathe a sigh of relief there. Here's another south. Tabuchi's gonna hold it? Nope. Changes her mind.
Yeah, she has a really wide hand. She got that. It's like open-ended gut shot there. To the side. She was thinking about cutting that 3. It keeps
Right.
the efficient shape. Now she'll get rid of
So
it. Because she
what a
pulls it
draw for Tabuchi.
sideways.
And another 7-mon. I was just saying how hard it was to get the 7-mon because the Dora indicator, and both of our players landing 7-mon back to back. The funny part is Yonesaki still wants a 7-mon as well. I guess there's one left. Could it be?
I think that happened earlier too, when she needed the 7-mon and everybody else had it, not her.
Could it be? No, it's not to be, but that's not bad. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad. Oh, all the 7-mon are accounted for. There's 3 of them.
One away for Sonobe. That's Senpai waiting for the 2-5. Yeah, the 2-5 character. For Tabuchi.
1 Dora and possible pure double sequence, possible Ipeko. Counter reach.
Yeah, player, but Negishi answers it with her own reach.
It's in such a close game. One Riichi battle could turn the entire tide, especially because Tabuchi's hand is so valuable. I mean, Negishi's hand also is almost as valuable. It's gonna be the same amount if Tabuchi doesn't get the pure double sequence, the Ipeko. And another reach. Sonobe, this is the dealer's reach, so it's the most valuable. Still nobody deals in, nobody's drawn their tile yet. But there it is. Sonobe deals out to, I believe that was Sonobe dealing out to Negishi. Oops, Dora, 6-mon. Yep. Big points for Negishi. Tough break for Sonobe there. The Riichi roulette did not roll in her favor.
Yeah, there's lots of things to call it like that. Riichi roulette, we call it Mekuriai, or like war, basically.
Right.
Just turn over the tile and see who gets the winner first.
Yeah, that reminds me of the war card game.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what Mekuriai is. Just turn over, and who gets the winning one.
Here we are in South 4. Tabuchi won the first game today. Still is in good position to win the second game, but currently not in first place. Ooh, Yonesaki. Got the 13 Orphans hand. I'm not sure if that's what you want in this position, but it might be all she can play. Negishi's looking pretty fast in order to hold on to her spot. Yonesaki did discard a 9-mon as her first discard though, so maybe she is actually not going for 13 Orphans. Got a lot of pairs for Tabuchi.
I think maybe going for the flush.
Right, but the hand is still so murky. Oh, we're out of 9-mon now.
When you go for a flush, like usually you have most of the flushy tiles, but
Right.
this time she has most of the honor tiles. That's why it looks like that.
3 of them are still single copies though, so it can be hard to make the flush when you have... It's 5 sets of honors, only 2 of them are paired up.
It does give you a lot of safer tiles though.
That's
for later.
true. I'm not sure if Wonder if safety is what she's looking for. I mean, I suppose Riichi City still has a huge lead, so safety does matter. Yeah. Oh, maybe an outside hand? Chanta?
Yeah, it looks like she's keeping options open, but she's already discarded that 8 bamboo, so.
That just means she'll be able to get it again and call Chi, right? Alright, so all the 9 mon are gone. So Kokushi Muso, 13 Orphans, is officially dead, even though it seems like she wasn't going for it at this point. Oh, the pair! 3 copies of honors. 3 copies of paired honors. This could be a big break for Yonesaki.
And it's a good thing she discarded that 7. She's going to discard the 9 next, but all the 8s are accounted for in other people's hands, so.
That is not an honor tile she has a copy of.
But pretty easy to go for the flush here. Just deciding when the right timing is to discard the 9, probably, and which honor tile she wants to start with discarding.
Wonder how much value there is in camouflage when you're this late in the hand, and the scores, you're in South 4, so a lot of players are incentivized to just either go for it no matter what or hold off no matter what. Oh, pairs it up! Pair 5.
It could be, yeah, it could be all, this could be the all pairs hand you were looking for.
Yeah, Sonobe doesn't even want her pair of West. Just discards the West as soon as drawing it. Negishi is 1 away though. Oh, that's a new one. It is a dragon though, and we haven't seen many of them, so another possibility comes to the hand.
Yeah, 1 had just come out.
Out goes
right
a couple green
Negishi's
dragons. Yeah, that's a couple tough green dragons. That's gonna make it hard. Another West? Is it dangerous now? Did the West become dangerous? No, she's gonna go for it anyway. I mean, it's a little bit dangerous.
She's deciding if she wanted to keep it as a safe tile. There's 2 out. No, 3 out already. It wasn't dangerous. I think it was a fully safe tile that she wanted to possibly keep.
You never know when Yonesaki actually is going for Kokushi. But I think all the 9 mon were out by that point, so Kokushi was supposed to be dead. Maybe she had to double check. Always worth double checking.
Yonesaki had discarded the West as well, so.
Oh, there it is. I see it. 1 away now for Sonobe. She might be able to make this happen. A pair of Dora. It's going to make the hand a little slower, but it's still 1 away from Tenpai. Speaking of Tenpai, Negishi calls to Tenpai, trying to end this game in first place for Team Maika. 3 mon. Woo. It's not an easy tile to discard, but it's done anyway. Sonobe trying to get out of last place. If
One extra pip.
Yeah, if Tabuchi ends up discarding that 7-pin Dora, it's going to be bad news for her. Good news for Negishi. We'll see what she takes. She takes the line where she discards the Dora. Negishi catches it.
And look at that swing. Negishi brings her team up. That would be plus almost 80, I think, for the team total.
That is quite the score there.
Yeah, not quite 80. Second place, Tabuchi.
Yeah, Tabuchi was looking for those back-to-back wins. And so
Yonesaki kept at only minus 17 for the team, so still a massive lead for Riichi City. Not that great for her own score. That brings her own score down from 122 to about 105. So And it hurts her. It hurts her a lot for the individual
Yeah,
playoffs.
the
She did have
individual.
only 8 games, so she had to play 2 more games.
Wonder
So
if that
that's-
means she'll be having more games in the future.
Yeah, I think she will actually be playing in the next game as well. So
Well, in that case,
that was a quick game. That was one of the fastest that we've had, I think. We
Right.
rarely get them under an hour, and this was just under 50 minutes.
yeah, there weren't too many redeals. And
Yeah, no read, and they were playing quickly as well.
in honor of that, we won't have too many repeats here. Because while we have Jenn repeating for game number 3, I have already repeated, so I will be stepping out for Corak. Hello, Corak.
Hello, everyone. Oh no, I have an
got a-
actual picture. It's cursed.
Yes, we had a submission by Ms. King from the Ara Invitational. So, and I touched it up a little bit to match Tips's touch-ups because I know that that's been a topic of conversation. So we are all touched
The
up.
Ara logo there in the background. I think Nathaniel is in the same situation, so presumably he'll also have a picture tomorrow.
And Harrison as well from the same event. So I think it's good. I think it represents, well, yeah, where we're all from. So, and that our commentary team is good enough to go to the Invitational. So that's exciting.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to get into, but I think we're here for the Mahjong. So why don't we introduce the players?
All right, I gotta say I like the blue on the new logo. All right, game 3, we have the same teams. For Riichi City, we have Nagi, Yonesaki in the south seat. Usually we start with the first dealer, which is Maika. Team Maika, Natsumi Negishi will be playing again. Third game for the day. In the west seat, Kotoko Sonobe will be playing her second game for Bar R. And Momoe Tabuchi again playing in the north seat for Otomedan. So mostly all the same players for all 3 games today. We had a couple different players in the first game only, but lots of the players playing against each other. So they've been playing against each other all season, of course. This is a penultimate session. So they really kind of know how each other plays as well at this point.
Yeah, it's convenient when you get your scouting done, but of course not at the end of the session. Everyone has their scouting done.
Exactly. All right, I think. But we have a bigger sponsor now. Sankei Shimbun is bigger. You might see me in the background. I jumped in to take over for Rika for the third game because she wasn't feeling well.
Wish her the best, of course, recovering. But we are going to see the action starting up. Of course, they're getting the tiles drawn. We should start seeing things pretty soon. There we are. North is the Dora.
Wait, did I have the player wrong? Sugihara is playing. We had the wrong player for Otomedan. Excuse me. I don't know what I
Alright,
did there,
well, I
but
see
yep.
a nice little Honetsu from pairs, maybe even Toy Toy here if you pair something else up. Chun pair here, nice starting hand. Very close. Not too much value yet, though. The 5 doesn't really do much. Kind of hedge everything at this point. And here we're going to see the 1 coming. Interesting, doesn't get rid of the honors and breaks up the 1, 3, 4, 6. Usually you want to keep a shape with this because it can accept the 2 and the 5. You don't know what your blocks are. But might even be thinking of some sort of Honetsu shift later.
Also in the south seat we have Tanizaki. We said it was Tabuchi, but it was actually Tanizaki. So yeah, mistaken the cards there. But we have the correct players on the screen and also the correct bios. So everything is okay.
Or you could always go Stononko, but no, just goes for the more efficient route. course, there, see that 1 having been cut. The 5 fits in nicely here. Very wide shape in Pinzu. Of course, possible Itsu, or you can just cut the 8. I would just cut the Hatsu for now and see what happens later. It's definitely a Tanyao type hand.
Yeah,
6,
that's what she
another
does.
Pinzu draw. That hand's getting exciting. With like an 8 or a 4 would really help it. Speaking of fills, that's a nice one there. The Suzu sheep now completed, can cut probably the west. Actually goes with the 8 here. Doesn't like the 5-8 shape. Of course, you do have a bunch of overlap. Speaking of Dora, when you have a floater here, doesn't really do much. And this is the situation that happens when you have some of these awkward honor Dora, is everyone is just afraid to throw it, and then someone's going to throw it, and they're all going to come out.
Yep. We call it awaseuchi, a matching discard.
Ishunten here. There is our Chunpon. This is Tempai now, waiting on 360. With the Onko of 1s, it will be extra Fu. This may be the time the Dora comes out, but at the same time, you're not really through with even winning this hand.
Yeah, especially with the honored pull in a second ago, it makes you a little bit wary of another honored Dora.
Oh, well, I said a 4 or an 8 would really help. There's the 8. Just not as fast as the open hand. And that's what the open hands do, is it just shuts down people building those monsters.
Yonesaki also citing the timing for discarding that Dora. She's going to keep it for a little bit longer now. She wants to make up some of the points she lost in the last game, probably.
Now, Team Riichi City way out in front, as you can see there on the bottom, over a 200 spread without too many games. Oh,
Yeah.
and of course, there's the North pair up. But the North pair is in the discards, not in the hand.
Yeah, the thing for Yonesaki is she is still going for this is the last game that she needs for the playoff to qualify for the playoffs. You need 10 games to qualify. She was in a really good spot for the playoffs, but got a negative in the last game. So she's going to try and make up those, not for her team, but probably for her playoff options.
Now, there's the sumo, just 1 Han 40 fu.
And Tanizaki will take her dealership. Tanizaki from Toyama Prefecture. She actually took a break from Mahjong from 2014 to 2019. She has multiple sclerosis and it was having a rough time with it, but she's feeling much better now and is back in the game.
No, that's always what you want to hear, is don't let it end your career, end your life dreams. Go for it. And seems to be back on the fight. All right, nice little Sozu shape here. Possible Itsu, maybe even a Chinitsu there. Speaking of shapes, 79 Sanshiku, maybe a Chanta. We have a North being the Dora, a couple of those as well. Tons of value. 2 fits in nice with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hatsu pair up. Can't just call and go with this hand. It doesn't really have any other value, so I think you just play it efficiently and see what you can get. One, so another pair up. Definitely Honitsu now.
Yeah, in the
See
East
here,
round,
just
you want to go for big hands or quick hands to end other people's big hands. So the Hatsu and the rest of the shapes are good is a great call to
right.
make.
It's a lot more about just raw value and what you're expecting to get, as opposed to situational plays you get closer to the end of the match. Nine so connects to the Ryankan shape. Still looking for a pair though. 4, ew. It is Ishanten, but it's the shapes are hideous. 8 so is the normal cut here. I don't hate 2-pin. The only problem is there is a 5 out, and it does go with the 2-pin.
Yeah, isn't the 4, 5, 6, it's a 4, 5, 7, 8 shape? There's a 5, 6, 7, 8 shape.
Yeah, it's a 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
So
that
it's a
shape
really
is
wide
really strong.
acceptance when you get those.
Right.
Oh, well, now it's going to be Nipeiko with one of those already out. And you have to just cut the 8 here. No, cuts the 3. Is looking for an
Locks in the
excuse to get rid of the
open-ended.
4-6 later, probably. Is that Tempai? That is Tempai. 4 so tone. Well, there's the pair up. There's just no value in this hand, so throws it back. Because it would lock in a bad shape if you cut the 2.
Yeah, when you have a difficult hand like Sugihara's, a couple tricks that you can use if you aren't sure about the efficiency. You can, for now, lock in the open-ended shape. And then another one is to, for now, drop the Aryanmen, or the fake open-ended shape. And those are generally pretty efficient, even if they're not the most efficient.
Ooh, that's a wide weight. You'd lose the east value, but this is now a 258 shape. And the Reichu hand just isn't going to get closer than the one with the east pair. The 2 door will be shut down almost certainly.
Yeah, plenty of value when you have the half flush and 2 Dora, but this is not the Dora. The north is the Dora. In
Yeah,
case you
that's the hand.
made the
Although it's
mistake.
getting there. There's the 9 now,
Usually
headless Ishunten, and there is an
is
upgrade. Yeah, it gets rid of the 6. That seems normal, especially when you see 3 of the 4. The 6 is not a good floating tile. Kind
usually
of a
with the half
lateral
flush.
chi with that 4, 5, 6. Doesn't move immediately, but gives a lot more calling options later.
With the half flush, you generally want to have an extra Han with a Dora or a Yaku
Doesn't matter,
tile.
just
But
sumo.
yeah, Tanizaki will just take it's 3,000 points, 1,000 from each
Yeah,
player.
just 1,000 all, nothing fancy. Would have loved the double tone, but you take what you can get.
Definitely important as dealer to stay dealer. So, yep, quicker hands is gonna take precedence over scoring usually when you're dealer. Not always, usually.
Well, speaking of double east, we see it again here. Starts off with an east pair. The rest of the shapes can accept Dora, so there's your 3 Han. Maybe a Chanta, but unlikely. I think you just call and figure it out later. Similarly here, possible Chanta routes, possible Itsu routes. Really Chanta-ish hands for a lot of these. Maybe like just the floaters are less than ideal. But I see a lot of ways that these hands can end up fighting for a lot of similar tiles. The 2s and the 8s are going to be in demand for a lot of these hands. Three, so pair up doesn't do much because you really want to keep that 1-2 shape. 6 connects to the 7, so maybe a 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. You really want to keep the 2-mon for the Sanshoku. This is a really tough decision. And you see the pause here. I'm not even sure what I go with. 5 is definitely the efficient cut, where you still hedge the 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. You can do that. You can go the 2-mon. You can even cut one of the semi-completed blocks if you want to get really greedy since it's this early. There are a lot of ways you can play that one. 3-mon pair up with the 3, 3, 4, 4. Sal say complete miss.
Yeah, I know that Negishi's hand with that 2-mon, that you just have, it just ends up being an extra block, and it's still pretty far away from Sanshoku. It's a really tough hand to
Well, it's
play.
kind of far away from everything, which is the problem. There's no real inherent value in it unless you brute force something with it. 7 so on the other hand, that is now Ishan 10. Possible Riichi
That's
Tanyo.
and more likely Sanshoku as well, the 6, 7, 8.
Oh, and here's the backfire with the 5 having been cut would have been Ishan 10 for possible Itsu.
Yonesaki has just pushed her hand into an all pairs. Probably not even really expecting to tempai, just hoping.
And cuts the 1 here, does lose the 2 acceptance, but there are ways you can turn this into a Riichi Pinfu Tanyao on, say, a 6-0 draw. 4 pin is now a pair up. Can throw it back, can cut the 7 or even the 1, 3, but you don't really want to throw the Dora. So I think the 4 makes a lot of sense. 9 goes back. 8, well, that's just
There
Tempai.
it is.
With confirmed
Sanshoku.
Sanshoku, Riichi Tanya Sanshugu, 3-mon, 4-mon.
I hate those weights when you have the middle shabo weights, but it's a really expensive hand.
Yeah, there's an argument to Dama. The question is, do you think the 3 would come out? And I think there's a decent argument for it, but at the same time, I'm not going to complain about value grabs. As you see, the tile's getting touched, but nothing knocked over, so no penalties.
Yeah, I wonder if she hadn't discarded the 1-mon already, she might have dama with a possible Aryamen switch instead of the shabo.
Gets a
But since
Monzu
she had,
tile, but that's not it.
one of the
Another
tricks
pair
there
up.
for deciding if you want to dama and wait for a better like improvement, either better weight or more value, is if you have double the number of improvements as the weights. So if she's already discarded the 1 and the 2 is no longer an improvement, then it cuts that in half.
Makes sense. Also, the 3-4, are they just still live? I'm not seeing it anywhere.
Still in the wall, I think. Got the floating 5 there. Lots of 5s out, actually, but and
Ooh,
6s, but no
well, now
3s
you
or
have the real
4s.
question. Are you going to fight here? You can go 9-9. You have 2 Dora. There's a huge incentive to try and force this hand.
Can't decide. Really want to discard the 9, but the 9 character, but it's not exactly safe either.
Nothing
with the
safe. I
north.
feel the North is more a play for just Tenpai payments at the end, which is still reasonable. Unfortunately, not really a great tile because it is on the door line. Oh, and there's your backfire, and now you just feel nothing but regret.
But now you're Tenpai. Does she not have Yaku? She has called the Yaku. Oh, she's going for the outside hand. It's a 1-2-3 call. Yeah, it is Tenpai, but
Yeah, I don't think there's Yaku either.
supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be an outside hand, and that 6 is just messing everything up.
Do see a call the East. 7 doesn't look that bad here. Another 8-mon miss. Of course, this hand not Tenpai even after the East call, but a lot of ways to maneuver it. Can go 2-3 here, or can just shove the 1. And I'm still wondering, where are the 3-4 mod?
This is another, possibly a classic corak hand where everything is just in the dead wall.
Well, we
there's
just had to ask
one.
for it. And you see the login state says, I don't like this tile. And that is correct.
Yeah, the problem is, what else is safe in her hand? And the answer is really nothing.
The 8 shows reasonably safe. You see so many of the 9s. Goes with the 9-mon. Seeing a bunch of 8s out.
Yeah, 8s and 6s as well.
Well, that's Tenpai waiting on the 8 show.
And Tanizaki does have a Yaku. It's double
Yeah,
East.
this was the
I believe.
East. No. No, you cleared the 9 already, so you have plenty of safety.
Yeah,
And
she
you're
wouldn't
going to
have
feel
been
a little
able
bit of
to win
regret
on
when you
it
draw
anyway.
that, and then you're going to see the hand reveal to be glad you did not throw the 4.
Yeah, she had that actually in the last game with the same form on as well.
Oh no. There's such an incentive to push for the tempai payments here. And out it goes!
Ouch.
Riichi Tanya Sanshoku Mangan.
And there ain't no more. It's rough for Yonesaki. Who's going for the playoff. She got a negative in the first game. A negative in this game will probably push her completely out of the playoff race.
Well, especially with how everyone else is calling, you figure if you're dealing in for 39, you're only losing 1,000. You just hope it's not that Mangan. Because you're very likely paying out 1,000 all based on how everyone else is acting.
Right. Yeah, when you get to I had a situation like that on my table as well. You get to that point where you have to decide if it's worth the risk of possibly dealing in for making up for it with the tempai payments.
Ooh, well, I mean, I keep bringing up Chanta, but this hand looks more and more like it. 2-pin loosely connects to the 4-5-6. Pretty decent shapes. Chun is Dora. Great shapes there. Possible 1-2-3 or 2-3-4 Sanshku later. Tuso Anko might even go Chinitsu with this. And 4 doesn't really do anything. It'll hold a 1-2-4 shape for now. 3 extends to 3-4-5-6. 4 keeps either Sanshoku open because you can hold the 1-3-4 and choose later which one you want. Well, there's that single Dora you're never really happy with. Interesting on the 2-pin. I always wonder in that situation whether we just cut away from the Kanchan 9-7 that we're not really thrilled with. Like, even just a sticky 2 like that to a 4-5-6 isn't that bad. The 5 connects to the 4. 3 would really help. Oh, and now you have the other end. And now you're just looking at the pawn and going, maybe I should have gone Itsu. And we have an Ishanten there.
Dealer Negishi here. She's the 1-2-3. She's another player
Definitely
she has a really good shot at the individual race. She's positive for the day so far, and she was already in like 14th place. So if she gets any more positives, then she could be going fast tracking to the finals.
Well, it was definitely a play for just Chanta and probably Dorotanki. The 9-pin, a really annoying draw for that play, though. Interesting, and the 5-pin doesn't take the Sanshoku option.
They want to go for the flush there. I don't like that 7-8 open-ended on in the dots.
Oh, well, there's Tempai. I just got to reach you this. Riichi, Pinfu, possible Tanya, 1 4-pin.
And that's why you don't go for the flush.
This is Tempai. We'll have to jam the Dora on Ipatsu. Never a fun thing. Does this have Sun Anko on Sumo? It's a non-dealer facing a non-dealer Riichi. Out it goes! Riichi Nomi. Possible Sun Anko on Sumo.
Makes it really easy for Negishi to discard her Dora and Yonesaki also, what we were talking about before, Awase-uchi. Just matching.
Riichi's Patsu Sumo Pinfu. No Ura, but a nice little pickup there, and of course the extra Riichi stick donation.
Sugihara actually goes by the name Tamako, even though her name is Yukari. I don't actually have the background for that, but that's her nickname, Tamako.
Well, I'll respect whoever is the one that has all the sticks at the table.
It's only her second year as a pro, so she's doing quite well in this game with a bunch of veterans. Yonesaki, of course, has been a pro since 2009, so it's over 15 years.
Yeah, you see different levels of experience throughout the entire cup. Even some teams will just have varying experience levels within them.
Yeah, I think it's one of the funnest and most interesting things about this league.
All right, looks like a couple Pinfu hands, another Pinfu hand, possible Ipeiko Tanyo maybe. Just get rid of the honors for now. South pair up, that is Dora. Might even just brute force the Honitsu. One so pair up, just play efficiency, maybe get that Ipeiko and lower Pinzu. 4 connects with the 6, kind of loosely, probably going tiny. If you do that 1, 2, 3, you'd love to shift out of it for an extra value. 6 connects nicely to the 5. 8, well, I'm definitely going Honitsu. If the Dora comes out, that is an instant call. Now Ishanten here pairs up the 5. Would really like to draw the 5 Mon, just so you have the Pinfu in there. Well, that's also Ishanten. Will we see the Dora come out? Dora is the normal cut here. Out it goes. Is it going to get called? Yes, it is.
Yep. There goes the 7 dot. The 9, so of course, is a little bit safer than the 7, so she'll discard that first. Now the 9 will come out. And hoping to pair up one of those honor tiles.
Yes, and the reason it came out was to shift up to the possible 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku. Nine show doesn't do much, but is a nice safe tile now. You do see the open hand with the Dora pawn.
And the 9 there is safer than the north, actually, that she discarded, because as you can see, the flush that Negishi's going for. All the honor tiles are going to be a little bit dangerous there.
Even with 1 out, it's just not a tile you really want it sitting around. And then I'm glad it didn't pair up, but I threw it later. 3 doesn't do much immediately, just kind of maneuvering the hand around, but all the action's right here. East doesn't do anything, so back it goes. Still stuck in Ishanten. 7 confirms the Peiko, but may end up getting away from it just because you don't want to have to throw that 8-mon. Speaking of tiles you don't really want to throw, there goes the 3. Does pass. And this is Tempai, but it is terrible. Well, Dama here waiting on 5-mon. No Yaku.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Even I think if it upgrades to open-ended, it's really not something you're happy about because you have to discard something dangerous to the... I mean, Negishi doesn't have any Monzu in her
There's
discard
Tempai, Riichi Pinfu, possible Sanshoku, 2 5-so, 5-so Sanshoku. That's enough to chase down the Dora pawn.
Absolutely. And didn't have to discard any Monzu, but yeah, like I was saying, Negishi doesn't have any Monzu in her discards yet, so the other players are going to still take some risk until there's an overflow.
Ooh. Ishanten here. We'll have to cut the 8-mon and 3-pin. I'd definitely be willing to throw the 3 here. The question is, if you're going to throw the 8, you kind of want to do it right now, because the longer you wait on it, the more dangerous it gets against that Honitsu. But I don't think either of
And
these
that's
are
it.
immediately dangerous to the Riichi. You just don't know if the open hand's there yet.
Right.
Duan, well, that is enough to, if you want to feel brave, this is a chance to do it. Would be a 2-5 wait. Will Dama. And similarly, thinks the 3 is safe enough and throws it out. Still Ishanten, though.
Yeah, I think Dama there, you're hoping for the overflow to come if Negishi gets her flush, she's probably not gonna fold it.
Well, the plan here is draw Forsto and shift up for the Sanshoku. But I'm always an advocate of not having to think, and that's why I like reaching. I think that's a 4-mon. Camera's mostly cutting it off. It is. We'll throw the relatively safe 3, Tempai no Yaku now. 5-pin 4-mon.
And that
And
flush did not
there
work
she's the
out.
fold. Well, you see the pawn. The flush didn't get there because you didn't draw anything, any sort of
Right.
upgrades. Even floating tiles never came.
Would have even taken one of those honored Tonki weights, and
Oh
that's what they
no,
wanted.
there it was.
Too late.
Well, of course, we know the Tuso would have dealt in.
It would have. If that was the only tile that she had to push, though, I'm sure she would have. But luckily, she folded before that.
I think the 1-mon's already come out. The decision here is how much you want to fight for Tempai payments, and just gives up. And this
Tanizaki
is
giving
just
up
the
as
power
well.
of a dealer Riichi. Just not much. Chases off even the Dorapone from Ishanten with multiple calls. There's
Not
that
even much.
Baku pair up.
Yeah.
There's the
Much left
sumo. It
for
is on the
this
cheap end though.
sumo.
Reach sumo pinfu. No aura. It should just be 13 all. And I always feel on those, you're a little disappointed you won, but at the same time, it does feel really good to at least get your stick back.
Yeah, and having 13,000 and that far away from everybody feels really different than having 17,000 and being less than 2,000 away from third place. So even though
And
it
of course,
wasn't
even when you
enough
get the
to bring her
cheap
up,
end,
yeah.
you always have that aura chance, and that doubling it to 26 all, that would be a pretty big hand. But instead misses and is rewarded, though, regardless, with another dealer turn. Has a Dora, probably a Tanyao hand. Might even just call this. It is very fast if you open for it. There's a Haku pair, a Pei pair, and pretty good shapes. We do see a call. And another one,
And
and yes,
another
there is
call.
the open on that Tuso. Just going for the Tanyao Dora 1 here. This will pair up there with the South.
Maybe she won't be able to call that west. But if the red dragon, the Chun, comes out, I think we will see that called as well as this white dragon. There's the
There
south
is the
called.
South. Ishanten now would love the tune.
So the top of that east for a second, I thought it might be the Chun, but it was not.
And that 4, 5, 6, 7 shape could get in some real danger. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, I like the 4 so cut here. You can't accept another door and just cut one of the pairs. At the
There's
same
the
time, you don't really want that
Chun.
tile floating by the door late, but you're still late first row. It's not really danger time yet.
And Tanizaki is
Oh, there you go.
pretty.
That's why. That is exactly why
Yeah.
you do it. Now, interesting question. Do you cut the 5 mon or the 8 pin? The 5 mon allows you to call a lot more easily, but you're likely going to end up on a shumpon. Whereas the 8 pin locks it in environments. You can definitely have your best acceptance for your own draws.
There's another dilemma when you can see that another player is going for the hoitsu, the flush with the manzu. Do you want to wait on the manzu so you don't have to discard them? Or do you want to get rid of the manzu so you don't have to wait on the same tiles that that player is waiting on?
And there's Senpai waiting 3 6 mon. Tanya door 2.
Yep, waiting on the same color as the flush hand. But flushes almost always have overflow somewhere.
They have overflow until they don't. That's been my experience.
Yeah, the score is similar. It's worth the risk here. Dora 2 for that hand, and right now I think it's just Hoitsu. The south is not Tanizaki's seat wind. So unless she gets the red dragon, the Chun, then it's actually worth less than the 2 Dora hand.
Well, that 4 so is definitely a fold. Ooh, this is close. It's not even Ishen 10, though. Well, I just see the Sanjaku and my eyes get big.
And that will stop Tanizaki, at least for the time being, unless she can get that red dragon and add value to her hand. She's not willing to risk the 3 dot.
One doesn't mean too much, so back it goes. Oh, there's the 3. That's an awkward shape. So this accepts a 4-7, a 4 twice, or a 4 and a 7. I hate that shape, but oftentimes that's what happens in a Honetsu hand. This may cause the 7 to come out, and that allows for the option. Yeah, it goes ahead and takes it. This is Tempai now, waiting on the 4 mon. I think you definitely shove the 3 here.
Yeah, this Tenpai, like you said though before, it's quite a cheap hand for a flush. And other players, since the flush is not in the Dora color and there's no red 5s, then it's pretty easy for the other players to read as a cheaper hand, and they can take some risks here.
You also have to wonder, what's the hand that's fighting me have? Is it just the 2 Dora? Are we going to see a shift here with the 5? We are. Now waiting 1 4 mon. Of course, you see a whole bunch of 1-4s. Oh, well, there's Tempai. If you throw the Chun in, it's a really bad tile. Nope.
Yeah, you can't really against that flush. That's the only thing that would give it more value, really, on the board right now. Maybe I guess the white dragon isn't out.
7 so doesn't do anything here. Just look for these upgrades. But with the 5 so, this hand just over. 2 players head to head.
If it's the Mekuriai situation we were talking about before, basically just war. Draw and discard, and who can get there first?
Even here, just trying to consider not the immediate discard. This is one where you actually think about your next discard. That's something I've definitely been known to do, is stall for time on my own turn. Not because I'm thinking about what I'm going to discard, but I'm trying to plan out my next 2 or 3 decisions.
Right.
And there's the Dora, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to come out. It has plenty of safety. There's our
There it
sumo.
is. Took forever. Almost the
Just gets
last
the
tile.
Tanyao, but good enough.
I think she had maybe one
Dora.
draw left there. Second to last draw for her. Yonesaki making up some points, trying to get back into that playoff race.
Into
Individual
second
playoff race.
because of the Homba.
Yeah, I find myself stalling not because I don't know what to discard now, but also strategizing what to call for, even when I'm not folding.
I mean, there's an obvious solution to that. Just call everything.
Can't all be corak and tips.
Should I call? Well, maybe. Should I call if I don't know what else I'm going to do? Yes.
Calling without a Yaku. There's definitely not a Yaku decided here, but there are two Dora in Yonesaki's hand.
Oh, I'm definitely
She
full on
continues as
Juchan when
dealer.
I see a hand like that. I'm not even thinking. If the one comes out, I'm insta-pulling it. Ooh, that's a pretty hand. 4, 5, 6 Sanshigu, Kengo Honetsu, even a distant Suiso.
Really feel like going for the Hoitsu here, but
I mean, this is North player, so I just got the East. And that's the
that's what she
decision.
does.
Tune pair up. Well, that makes this
All
easier.
right, that's what we wanted. That's exactly what you're looking for, and exactly why
This
you
is
keep the value tiles.
You can cut the 1 4-so, or you can cut the 7-9. I like the 4-so cut first, because then I can back my way into an Itsu. Ew. It does help the Honitsu, but 2, 4, 6, 8, not quite as bad as terrible as the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, but not a fun shape regardless.
Yeah, for the points, I was kind of hoping more for the bamboos with the open-ended weight there. Instead of the Ryankan, and now it's Sankan.
Ugh, and even though that's an upgrade, it's not a good one. Yeah, you're just gonna end up probably calling this down for 1 Han.
Yeah, all of the potential value that we saw.
No, that's the tile I was worried about. I would definitely be going Itsu now. But does at least get a Ryankan from this with the 579. It's not a complete backfire, but I just see big value and my eyes get big.
Yeah,
See
the
the pawn of
one's
the tunes here with the 2-Dora.
3-6.
5 doesn't actually do anything here. We'll go ahead and cut the 2 to try and not set up any sort of bait. Or getting away from Soju. Ignore the 6 in the gate. They're definitely going to be safe against me later. Smile. Another 9, though. Distant Honroto is an option.
Yeah, more pulling options. When you're calling hands, do you want to focus more on the pawns? Since you can take it from 3 different players.
Ishunten. Not going to hold the 899. No real reason to. Ooh, 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. And the 6 fills in nicely. Now Ishunten.
Perfect. Hoping to get a hold of one more Dora first, in some way or another.
At the same time, even the Dora Shumpon would be perfectly fine. You just want Tempai. Oh, well, speaking of just wanting Tempai, well, you just Riichi Hatsu with 2 Onko, so a bunch of extra food there. It's a north player, so west not the seat win. Negishi in a pretty good position, though, with a good weight and plenty of value.
I don't think there's any way that
Close, but
Yonesaki
no.
can fold this hand.
There's the last one, Mon, so that's going to be difficult to get.
Could have had 3 beans.
This is
So
Tempai. We
frustrating.
might see a Riichi and a pawn for Tempai. Damas
Dama.
will still be pawned for Tempai. Now just waiting on the door. The one mon is locked in a hand.
The one mon is in high demand. Sugihara would also love to have one. So she needs it to win. So it's winning tile for 2 players.
And it's just stuck in there. It's never. Oh, there's the Dora!
Ooh.
Mungon!
As the dealer with 2 continuances, that is what Yonesaki needed to get her back in the race for the individual playoffs.
And Negishi looks disappointed. There's just nothing you can do about that. Yonesaki has to chase down with that, and you just hope you're not the one that draws the door up.
Maika was hoping to gain on Riichi City, but that will stop them in their tracks.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. Borderline impossible if the score is anything like this. Now has to make up 300 points in what, just this game and then one more session?
Right. I mean, they had a first place last game, so it looked like there was a shot at it, but this is just pretty much no chance at this point unless they
The
can
old what
come
goes
back
up
for
must
first
come
this game.
down. Does tend to be how things work, but we have a possible Honetsu hand here. 9 pins, a nice little pair up. Their shapes aren't great though. I mean, some 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. Couple pairs here. Maybe you pick if you get a 2-pin. Anko with a 6, so not a particularly expensive hand, but reasonably quick. Low Shunten. 4 doesn't really do anything. Just definitely greeting that 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. The 9 connects to the 8, but the shapes are just not there. Throws the 2-pin. Doesn't get greedy for the Ipeiko. I actually don't like that. I always get greedy with Ipeiko.
Peiko is the hand I get least greedy with. I'm always much greedier with Sananko and Sanshoku.
Sun Anko is not real. You cannot convince me Sun Anko is real.
So real. It's just what you have to deal with when you can't get the Suanko.
Well, that assumes you get pairs even. Speaking of pairs, we do see a bunch of them here, though. Probably going
It's
to have
the
to move
magic
the
number.
Chito there.
Yep, 4 pairs. That's the magic Chitoi number.
Oh no, goes for the Kogoshi, but you're just seeing all the Monzu tiles. The Honitsu would be so good right now.
Interesting. Was there a way for her to hedge the
Ooh, that
points?
7's a beautiful draw.
Could not even hedge it. Yeah. Oh, she was hedging it, I guess. And then
He was, but then
yeah.
just sold out on it. Once the fight, and that's something I've said many times in these casts. When you're going for Kokushi, it should always look like Honitsu at the start.
In that case, it's better not to hedge and you discard whatever you have the most of.
Yes, you have that option. Well, speaking of options, that is a Tempai Riichi Pinfu 2/5 mon. Five-pin pair doesn't do anything. It just isn't good enough to fight. Chitoi never good enough to fight, unless you're Tempai, and even then, it's kind of borderline a lot of the time. Oh, just sumo.
There it is.
Riichi bought sumo Pinfu.
Ibatsu.
No aura, but a nice little
Tanizaki.
pickup. Tanizaki gonna close the gap a bit here. Should still be third place though.
Well, has a whole south round left and another turn at dealer. 7,000 is a nice, definitely a nice little. God.
Well, it
Brings
closes
her
the
up
gap
to, yeah,
significantly.
yeah, definitely has a good shot at first place at this point.
Yeah, nice little boost there. Well, Sugihara will be dealer here in South 1. Eightmon appears to be the Dora. Of course, you're always at that midpoint of the game where you really reevaluate where you are, and we have 3 people right at it, and poor Negishi with that Dora deal in. But ooh, double South Anko Honitsu. Not in the Dora suit, but still a ton of value. We see the West pair up that is the Yakuhai. And much more standard pin shape. Ooh, these are some pretty good hands.
I think we're gonna see a lot of them going to head in this hand.
Coop in the perfect draw
Perfect
window.
fill-in,
1,
yeah.
3, 3, 4.
That is the kind of tile where you're saying in your head, okay, I need this tile. There it is. Feels good.
The 3-pin, not the tile you want. It does let you go Tanyao, potentially the 2, 3, 4 Sanshoku. I hate this shape, but I do recognize it because I've had to go for this from time to time. Let me see the North call here. Of course, this is the double South. The 3-pin would be amazing for that hand.
They've been amazing, but in high demand in all the
Ugh.
3 of them here in Yonesaki's hand.
Ew, too many pairs. Too many middle pairs you have to try and call down for Tanyao. Well, gave up to 2, 3 more Sanshoku the previous hand. I mean, you just have to cut the 5 so here. You can go 1 pin if you want to get really greedy.
Is that really? It's just 1 Han though. Kind of makes you
Those are the
have
6.
to call
Okay,
things.
going to just take double floaters.
Yeah, oftentimes when you have too many pairs like that, you want to get rid of one of them. Keeping just 1 6 gives the option for the 1 4 7 3-sided weight in the Manzu.
This should be Tumon. This allows you to hedge the Peiko, but instead throws the 7 back. I did mention not that long ago, I very much greed-free Peiko.
Yes.
The 1 though
Yes.
doesn't do anything for this hand. Shaw, similarly a miss. And a nice jacket, but I can't see the tell. There's a Hatsu. The 1 pin only confirms that hand needs a 3 now. Oh, yeah, about that 3. Have fun with that.
Now this is what we call Kutsuki Tenpai. It's Kutsuki Shanten. A sticky one away. Slides out the 8 dot for the 5 dot.
Well, there's a 4. This is no Ishunten.
And
And there's
stuck.
just your Tempai. Not really anything to think about. You just Riichi this. You can Dama just because you're in first, but why? Why Dama? Well, you can Riichi.
It is her favorite Iyaku is Ippatsu. And you can only get Ippatsu if you reach.
Definitely the way to go here. It's a good weight. You're not going to get any real upgrades. Plus that 3-pin, you know you're ruining someone's hand. You just don't know whose.
Turns out I think it's a couple people's hands.
Well, especially the 3 and the 6. You know you're going to cause trouble.
Right.
This is a lot of different ways you can play. You can cut the 9-pin, you can cut the 3-bon. You get crazy, you can cut Dora, but I'm not doing that.
Just did?
And you can just fold.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not quite a fold, I think.
No,
Just
that
1,
is
2,
not a
3.
fold.
Yeah.
He
But the door
shunten.
is going to be floating there. It's just so far away still. It's one of those hands where you kind of go for it, and it's just
It doesn't
kind
get
of
there.
a half
You're leaving yourself the option
attempt.
to draw things, and then the wall just says no.
And if you keep going for it, that's when you deal in a lot.
Yeah, that's when you get in big trouble. You're like, I'm so close, and the wall keeps tempting me to get back in, and then you see something like Dora draw, and we're out.
I always find myself in a place where I'm just 1 away, maybe 2 away, and nothing good comes, and I just
Oh, well,
don't
at
think
this
enough to
point, this
fold.
would have been Tempai, would have to throw the Dora, so... Especially at that 6 Monreach, you don't really want to throw the 8 anyway. Yeah, not too much to talk about at this point. You're just gonna have 3 people folding out. Question is, can anyone else sneak it a Tempai? That 3 is definitely an I'm out play.
Yeah, not even trying anymore. Not even pretending to try anymore. Sometimes you do want to pretend to be trying so that other people will fold to your thinking that you'll be Tempai. But kind of at a point where the other players can't even do that now.
No, it's just a matter of, will the hand be drawn? This is, again, technically Ishunten, but if you're not throwing the Dora, it's not Ishunten.
These are the ones that get you in trouble.
Also isn't 100% sure what's safe here.
And that, yeah,
I
that's
feel
the
the
problem with their safe tiles.
2-mon
It's easy.
reasonably safe. But nothing just, this is free.
Yeah, a ton of 3s are out.
Of course, we see the 2 4s right in front of us. And yeah,
There
eventually
it
comes
is.
the same conclusion.
And sometimes when you're there, like even if you would normally just know right away, okay, the 2 is the safest thing I can discard here. When you're on the TV table and there's pressure on you and there's a reach, sometimes it just is a little bit cloudy for a few seconds there.
And then we see the rest of it coming out, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief, and the end of the hand coming up in a few draws. And similarly, in the same situation, not 100% certain, but yeah, it's 8 so or 7 so feel like the options. There it is. Had the chance for the high tape, but misses, and now everyone sees where those 3 6-pin were. Yonesaki extends the lead here.
They would have needed one of those 3s or 6s to push back. So I'm not dealing in that hand. And then dealership will move to Tanizaki.
Yes, in a 3rd place, but certainly within striking range of 1st from here, especially as dealer. And that's a pretty good starting hand. Looks like unless you'll Riichi, Pinfu, Tanya, maybe Peiko, you have the extra 4, 6, 9, but that's more easy to read as a Kanchan 4, 6, and just get rid of the 9 most likely. Ooh, a whole bunch of floating tiles, but 2 of those are Dora. So the plan is pulling the Hatsu, figure out something else later. Chun pair up here.
Hmm. Not good hands this time.
I mean, I'm very rarely going to complain about a Dora Yakuhai pair up. Oh, that's the perfect draw. This is Tempai waiting on 5 so.
Okay, draw, but where's the value?
South
All right.
pair up.
Now that's a lot of value, but it's just so hard to tempai that hand.
Yeah, you figure at this point you might even think you're the fastest player at the table here. You can't expect someone to be dumb in this situation, but here comes the Riichi. 5-8 so, Riichi Pinfu Tanyao will call, and that feels like an Ipatsu break more than an actual fight.
Yeah, the hand just isn't there at all at this point. That's another tip you should keep in mind, that breaking Ipatsu with a chi is often very good, but breaking it with a pon is often not that good because you're giving up 2 safe tiles just to break someone's Ipatsu.
The problem here for a Negishi, of course, is any sumo is probably going to knock her into the negatives. Question is, can anyone fight this? We do have that south pair Chun pair hand. Of course, this has the 2 Dora, but the rest of the hand just isn't there.
Negishi wants to get any points possible to try and stay in the playoff race. She came into this game with just over 200 points. So minus 50 is gonna knock her down way far down in that race.
Yeah, you don't know if it's unrecoverable, but it's not a good place to be. 7 connects to the 8 here. This is pushable. But you may end up just cutting a Yakuhai for safety reasons. That's not giving up on the hand. At the same time, I don't mind just shoving the 8. Instead, throws the 7 back. It is Suji.
I think I'd definitely go with the 8 there.
Yeah, I shove.
There it is.
Okay, gets back into Ishunten the other way. Different Ishunten, wider if you cut that 8 so. Definitely concerned with that Suji. And of course, we know
Yeah.
that is the dangerous one.
A good read on her part. Like we said, she did have like a long break, but oh wait, no, she's a newer player. Sorry, did say she's a newer player, but that's a good read to push the 8 character and not to push with the 5-8
We did
bamboo.
have the 9 so and then pay, so the 5-8 is a little more dangerous than it would be normally. But at the same time, I'd shove. The reason it didn't really happen is the Riichi is from dealer. That's always something to consider. And this is the temptation. This is the do I shove it here? That's the long pause. Is do you throw the 8? And the answer is no. Gets away from it.
Yeah, she's also in a good position score-wise and doesn't have any more dealer turns left, so she can afford to conserve a bit here and try and attack in a later hand.
And we're starting to run out of draws here, but still waiting for that 5-8. No, not that 5. Close, but nope. Anko of the 7s. You'd like to be able to try and get back in, but you've just destroyed the hand at this point. So will almost certainly just be either a win or a one-person tempai. And that 3 so is just a pretty hard fold. There's the sumo reach sumo pinfu tanyao. No ura, but that's gonna be 26 all. Plus the Honba, the 27 all, and the Riichi sticks.
And a stick left over from the last hand. That put not that comfortably into first place for now, but she gets another turn at dealer and try and widen the lead against Yonesaki. This is a spot where Sugihara is going to have to decide whether to push or not. A little bit more on the push side than the last hand. Because now she's got to make up points with that dealer.
Yeah, dropping to third place. And the team's not in any real position either. So this is when you try and make something happen, and if you lose, so what? But you have to try and make something happen. You don't want to go down without a fight.
Neither Sugihara nor Tanizaki really has a shot at the individual race either, so this is kind of a practice session for them. They're going to try and get first places as much as possible for today.
I'm on pair up, possibly pay go with a 7. Oh, that 4 is such a disgusting draw. Just throws it back. It says, I want the Chanta Junchan. Two, 5, 8. Another one of those shapes where I look at it and go, could we not? 3, 5, 7 upgrade. Still a long way to go, though. Well, 2's your pair in that hand. One of those awkward shapes. 4 pair up, that is Ishanten.
We still haven't seen a Chitoi. Ever since the first game, there's been many attempts and not a single one Chitoi yet.
Wait, so what's the problem?
It's a perfect day.
That's how things are supposed to be. We'll hold the 2 for the distant 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. Would love to add that with the Chanta, of course. Pay pair up. This is Ishan 10, but lose a lot of its value. At the same time, you're not really gaining anything. I just shove the 7-1. I don't think it does anything here, really. Yep, that's the decision here. Ooh. Ew. You don't really want to lock the pair in because then you're potentially 2-pin 5-mon Shampoo where you have all those 2s in the hand.
Yeah, I think it more likely ends up being an all pairs hand.
One pin pair up. And this needs to be the 2-mon. I'd be giving up on this. You just need to start calling. The problem is this is Negishi who can't afford to just start calling. So this is when you're trying to balance how greedy do you want to be with how hopeless is this. You can't even go east-east. Yeah, okay, does go that route, says it's Junshan. We want the Junshan Sanshoku. Yeah, I think you have to go with the 4 because this lets you shift down to the 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku. Speaking of bleh,
Nothing but
I'd
pairs.
throw it back. I wouldn't even take
Useless.
this. Instead,
Possible
cuts to north.
inside
Possible
hand,
time
yeah.
upgrades later, but at the same time, most of those upgrades just already get you Tempai, so I don't think you're adding anything doing it. 4. Well, that's at least Tanya. That's a nice little upgrade. Tanya and multiple Ipeco potentials now.
I mean, the good thing about those honor pair drops is that it gives you one option to not think. Like you said, you don't like to think. Oh, it's weird. Pair.
Well, that's
Everything.
Senpai. I think you just have to slam this. Nope, well, Dama on the 5. Wants this Sanshoku really badly. I'd have just Riichi taking the Shampoo.
Yonesaki is one of those pros who likes 3-player Mahjong. If that affects her
I believe
building
you're
bigger
one of those
hands.
people as well.
I am one of those people. I play Sama all day long.
Hatsu doesn't really do anything here. Trying to get that Sonanko. There is, of course, also a Ipeco option. Passes the 9. Could have tried to call that down for at least Tempai no Yaku. Gives up on the Ipeco shape here. Doesn't really want to throw the 6 into the possible deal in with Dora. Oh, no. Well, this hand's doomed. I guess you're going for Tempai payment. And I mean, it's just been that kind of Hanchan for Negishi. Nothing's coming together. Ooh, 7-pin Anko. Should just be the 7s. So out goes the Dora. It always feels weird to be the first person to throw the door at the end of second row. But at the same time, you can see everyone's pawns are looking very frustrated.
This next Yonesaki's hand. And she, of course, did the Dama 5 middleweight.
Oh no, that's the problem. The only other alternative throwing the Dora last turn was the 8-pin, which I think is also reasonable, but I don't mind just throwing the Dora there. The 8's going to be reasonably safe, even if someone does Riichi. Oh no, the Sumo!
Yeah, I think that I liked the Shabo better. It gives you more options for open-endeds in the Manzu. Of course, we can see all the 6s, but when you can't see all the 6s, I think I like the Shabo Kariten better than the Kanchan Kariten.
I feel just generally, anytime I have to wait on a 5 and it's not with Akadora, I don't want to.
Yeah, I think I feel that way. And it's Akadora, you don't expect it to come out, but you don't really have a choice. There's Tenpai for Negishi.
Well, then you can just sumo it, because no one's going to throw the red one to you, but if you just draw it yourself, hey, that fixes the problem.
Yeah. It's Mahjong 101, just sumo red Dora.
Well,
sumo
there is
Dora.
Senpai. There's our Riichi Tanyao. Is there Sonanko? No, there is not. It has 3 Anko, but that's not how it scores, because there has to be a pair in there somewhere.
That's the 5 that Yonesaki was looking for before. Negishi, of course, doesn't have a Yaku because she's called the 789. That bamboo's there in the corner, so she was going for the outside hand. I think that's the second or third outside hand we've seen that they called for and could not Tenpai with the Yaku.
Well, just this entire Hanchan has been filled with hands that started out just screaming, "This is Shantu or Junshan." They didn't always stay there, but there were so many that started that way.
You end up going for, when you're playing with the red 5s, then you don't usually end up going for it that often, but when there's no red 5s like in these rules, then you go for it a lot more.
Yeah, well, that's the downside. Oh, and now the Ishunten for Suanko, but it's just too late to matter. Now this is Tempai if you shove the 5 mon. Now you have to really consider, can you afford to give up the Tempai payments here? I think since the 8 came out, I'd shove.
And that will end the hand.
And there it is. And sees the 5 would have cleared. When I see the early 1-4 and then the late 8, I don't think the 5 deals in that much. But at the same time, the previous hand I would have shoved, I would have dealt in.
That brings Sugihara back in the realm of less than Mangon needed to take over first place, which is the position that you want to be in going into the second to last and last hands. You usually want to be within a Mangon Sumo of first place at the very least, and she's well beyond that. So good shot at first place. Tanizaki, of course, is in first place right now, and Yonesaki is going to try and get a few more points going into her last dealer turn. But for now, Negishi is the dealer.
Yes, this is the hand you have to finish. Starts off with 2 Dora. The rest of the hand isn't great, though. Couple 7-9 Kanchan. Possible Honetsu play with all the... Ooh, that's a much prettier hand. 5 so it would really help as well. 9-pin pair up. Really wants to pair one of those Yaku high up and go. If 8 so weren't Dora, probably could have even gone for the 79 Sanshoku, maybe Chanta route. But with Dora pair, you just always keep it. Tempted again, it's just no. Back it goes. South isn't going to do anything. 4 so pairs up. You could go 1 mon or you could go an honor. We'll cut the 1. And okay, there's the call here. We're going to see how greedy is it for Honetsu. And the answer is not at all. Ishunten now. 7 so would be really nice, but you see where those 7s are? Because I see 3 of them.
Makes it really hard for anyone else to use the Dora except for Negishi, who has a pair of
The
them.
problem is that where's the last 7? It's the Dora indicator. It's actually completely doomed. Ooh, well, okay, now you go 6 so. I would cut 6 so here, but instead wants to lock the pair in. This gives a wider ship with the 4, 6, 8. I want to back in and maybe sneak Rion Peiko out of this. But you do have that 8 so Dora, so definitely reasonable not to.
And with that 4, then you think about making a Suji trap. But it's so... This is one reason why it's so bad to wait on the Dora indicator.
Yes. Well, it's always just such an in-demand tile. That's something I tell just not brand new players, but those that have played for a while. What's the most dangerous tile? It's not Dora. You think it's Dora, but it's not Dora. It's Dora indicator because there's 1 less of them. And everyone wants it.
Except when it's the 9, all the other times.
Yeah, if you have the terminal Dora, it's a little different. Another pair up. Possible Tanya shifts now, though, so that's a nice little pull with that 7 mon.
Especially when the Dora indicator is the 7 or the 8, then it's so hard to use the Dora without the indicator.
Could go 5 mon here.
Seeing what we see, we want her to discard the Dora.
Yes.
But you just can't.
I feel 5's the most efficient. You can always greed with Ipeco, just throw the 6 back, and that's going to be the play here. They say I normally like greeting free Ipeco, but I just feel there's such a wide acceptance. You don't need a ton of points here.
She might be thinking about possible all pairs hand if the Dora pairs up.
Oh, well, there you go. We were both wrong, but it doesn't matter because the 7 so's never coming out.
That's what we were talking about, the trap. She did the Suji trap, but there's
But at
no
the same
more
time,
7s.
if you're trusting Suji Trap on a Riichi on Dora indicator, you deserve to deal in. Professionals at this caliber should not ever be throwing this episode here. It should look terrible.
Nah, I don't think it doesn't happen when you're folding for sure. It might happen when you're going for
Yeah,
a
if you
hand.
have to shove and it comes out, that's one thing. But that Onko is not coming out.
Yeah, that's definitely not for folding.
So the real question is anyone else going to get in here? And this hand is very close. And this hand is Ishanten. Of course, we'll also need that 7 so it's also doomed.
And also really no fours left either, so no way probably to get to Tempai even at all.
And not even going to bother, just cuts the 8. And there's Tempai on the 5. There's our Riichi. Camera jumped a little quickly there.
I think it jumped backwards too. It wasn't. It might be a new person. It's happened a few times in today's stream, so it might be someone new on the camera controls.
Kumon 8 so Shampon, of course 8 so being Dora, so it's plenty expensive. Of course, this is Negishi, the chance to get out of the negatives, but the 2 is going to be the only tile to win, and there's, I believe, 1 left. Is it 2, but not that 2. That's going to be it. 2
We're
players
going
Tempai.
into draw. 2 players
And that's
Tempai
the
and a
other
Riichi.
satisfying thing is when you see that someone's on that 7 so and you get to hide you at all 3 of them. When I get that situation, I definitely cannot hide my grin.
Yeah, where was it? And that is continuance number 4.
And 3 Riichi sticks. The pot is very juicy. 4,200 just in the pot itself. So everyone's looking for something fast here. Because the only person who wouldn't necessarily want to go fast is Negishi, but Negishi's dealer, so it doesn't matter. One Mon pair up. Kind of a Pinfu hand, feels a little slow. Now, this is a Hatsu pair. I like this hand. Feels like it's the heavy favorite to finish, but that 4 pin's a nice little fill. 3 so would be a nice follow up. 4 floaters loosely connects to the 6, 7, 8. Speaking of 6 and 7, 6, 6, 6, 7. 5 so that is Ishan 10, but we'll break it. Doesn't want the penchon. 4 so potential 3 for 5 Sanshogu, also an overlap with a 1, 2, 4, 5. 5 pin, now Ishan 10. Not an ideal shape, but if that's all you get, that's all you get. And that's the other part, is when you have a huge pot like this, the quality of your Riichi is not really that important.
Yeah,
You just need to get that stick out there.
any Tempai is worth so much more than normal. It's already plus 4,000, so any 3,900 point hand now is worth basically Mangan.
3 so, ooh, interesting choice. I mean, I just cut the 2 on. That's going to be the play here. 6 allows a potential shift in the Manzu later, but we'll cut the overlap in Sozu for now.
And you see, actually, this shape that Tips and I were talking about, the 1, 2, 4, 5 shape, and deciding whether to discard the 1 first or the 2 first.
The general rule is if you need a Tanya
Right.
pair, then cut the 1 first. If you don't, cut the 2 first.
Hey, we're discussing if you cut the 2 first, it makes 3 look a little bit safer than it does if you cut the 1 first. If you cut the 1 first and then the 2, it's a lot harder for the other players to discard the 3 later to you. So you can use it for some deception. That was the shape we were talking about during that hand.
East isn't going to do anything, so it goes out. 7's paired up. This would be the ugliest Itsu. At the same time, you kind of want to get rid of this 2-pin, but I'd probably throw Formon, and yeah, there it goes. Speaking
Yeah, it
of
only
Formon
happens
discards,
as soon as you discard that 2-pin, then the 3-pin comes. And it only comes if you discard the 2-pin, so...
yes. Well, it's one of those rules of Mahjong and probability. You have 50% chance of being wrong and a 50% chance of not being right. Linmon isn't helping. Of course, I already discarded 2 of those. This is Tempai waiting on the 2-pin. Still Ishan. That's a monster if you get that 6-mon. For the Peiko possible Tanya. Ugh. Oh, I guess you just go Chinitsu. That's actually not a bad draw. You're not even worried about the Itsu. You just full send for the value.
I'm gonna look for places to call now. When before you actually couldn't call because there was no Yaku with
Right.
calling.
I mean, just the 8 for now. I do
You
not
cut
like
the
this
8,
5.
but then if you get the 4, you have no pair.
You have a 5 pair. You have to cut Dora, though.
Oh, if you get the 4, I mean, if you get the 4 dot after that in your Ipeiko. I thought you were always greeting for Ipeiko.
Well, I mean, we could always go Taki if that's necessary.
I think you'd have to
But
go
I just don't want to
shovel.
throw anything in that area unless I'm Tempai. Ugh. And see, this is the problem. Is you pair up here, and the question is, what do I do? I would honestly cut 4 5s, though.
I think that's the 4 5 so or the 5 6. Come on, those are the kind of the options.
Yeah. Well, the 3 just came out and 9 came out, so you can't just go with the 6 here. You're not really losing anything doing so, but nope, just throws the 8.
Yeah, I think I
Doesn't
like
matter. There's the
locking in a
turbo.
pair somewhere. I agree with you. Yonesaki, that will put her in first place for now, going into the
The
last
Sumo
hand
Tanyao.
as dealer.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
the
like you
Dama
said,
here.
the score doesn't even matter. You get all these extra points.
Into a clear first place and dealer and all last. And if there was any question about whether Riichi City is advancing, this game is definitely ending that. Team Riichi City way out
Yeah,
in front and like great position to win another match.
I think even if Yonesaki were to lose this hand, it would
It's
not
almost impossible. Even if they
benefit
go
anyone.
4-4-4-4, they're still probably in.
I mean, there's really not a good chance that she would get fourth place here. She could get out of first place pretty easily
Yeah, even if you drop to
because the other
third, you're
players
still
can push.
probably fine.
Well, you dropped to third. The only other team that has a shot at coming back is Maika, and Maika's in dead
Exactly.
last right now. So yeah, there's no other team that can come back from it, even if she drops to third place now.
2-pin, great fill there. 4, nice little upgrade on the Pinzu shape. 2, so it doesn't really do much immediately. I hate these shapes where it's a count the kanchan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 question mark. When you get past 3 kanchan in the hand, you just get sad. 4 is a nice fill there. Would really like a 6-pin, but there are a couple locked in this hand, and another one's the door indicator, so they're not going to come out anytime soon. You see the Hatsu pair. Probably just going to try and call it down and go if possible. Ishanten. Haku doesn't do anything. We'll cut the 2, so there is a distant Honetsu, but probably just going to play efficiently. Cuts the 7, holds the safe tile, doesn't have any confidence in that hand. Just complaining about all the conchons. It says, you know what? We'll hold a safe tile a little early because I just don't trust this. This is a headless Ishunten. The 7 so is the normal
Yeah.
cut. You can get greedier and cut the 7 Mon. It gives you an Ipeco shift and most likely the Nobitan anyway. You do backfire on the 6, but even if you end up on a 3-sided Furitan Riichi, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I think I like the 7-mon discard better if you have like an Ariamen and not the Nakabukure. So Nakabukure is the 6, 7, 7, 8 shape where you have one in the middle. It's easier to make a pair in that case. But since it's so hard to make a pair with the 6, 7, 7, 8 shape, I like the 7 discard better.
Well, so goes with the Hatsu. Okay, I think I would have just cut the 8.
There we go. That's what I was talking about. That's what I was
Yeah,
talking about. That's
that's
exactly
it.
what I was talking about.
Isn't it nice when they
Describe it.
demonstrate
Yeah.
concepts immediately for us?
It's just, yeah, beautiful.
7 foot would really help here. The question is, do you want to hold the safe tile? Nope, out it goes. When you look at that pond, all it says is, I don't need Sozu tiles. 4 is a great fill here. The problem is you just lock your pair on. I think you do. Not going to yet, though.
Yeah, it goes with the 2 Ariamen shapes, the 2 fake open-ended is what I call them. It's like open-ended, but you're using 2 of the tiles, and it just makes it so much worse.
Well, this should be the 8-pin, but clearly didn't want to do it, and is now forced with a decision.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
trying,
wants that door acceptance.
yeah. Door acceptance and not that happy about the middleweight.
Oh, that's an annoying draw. The 9 is Furitan.
She wants a 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku.
Well, that's the thing, is if you just want a sumo, you don't care about Furitan. Five. Well, okay. I mean, you can just cut the 7, 8 right now. Nope, cuts the 5. Definitely locking
Are you
in for this.
going for a
Either
Sanshoku?
Sanshoku or the Ipeco. Of course, a
Yep,
5 on will
just
also move the hand forward.
hoping to get the 6 first and take care of that pesky little 3-10 problem.
Of course, you could
But I
also
would
just pair up one of the
reach
So
3-10.
tiles and use that as your pair.
True, true. I'd probably reach 3-10 there, though.
Oh, for sure. If you have value, I'd throw the stick in.
3-sided way, I'm always
Ooh,
reaching it, but
okay. I guess
open-ended.
I would have loved the 3, but with the Furitan on the other options, it doesn't really help. Form on pair, you can go Ipeco, cutting the 1 here. You can also cut the 8, thinking 2 Dora probably aren't coming as we're end of second row. Shifts the now to a 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, there's
Hoping for the
tempo.
2. Yep, that's good enough. Riichi Pinfu, 1 Forso. And there's the 1. Riichi Patsu Pinfu.
Ipatsu.
No
Okay,
Ura, but that's going to be 39.
that is
And
enough
this
for
gets
first
worse for
place.
Negishi.
That will end the game in first place for Tanizaki, and Yonesaki is just put barely out of first place. Just trying to make up those points she lost in the last game. Still got a positive.
Yeah, Tanizaki there with that 38.5. It's the big wins. We see here Sugihara in third, minus 9.3. And just nothing worked out that entire Hanshan for Negishi.
Yeah, and any dreams that Maika had of moving on are pretty much demolished at this point. Is the day. And this is completely incorrect, so we can turn the screen off.
Yep, just
Thank
skip
you.
it. Okay, now we gotta go back to the cursed picture of me. But overall, it felt like there was a little more defensive play than I liked. There were multiple. Like, you just need to shove here, and they were generally standing away from it. There was that one push for that Sanshku deal in that I think when it did deal in was scared of that Formon, but it did deal in, just scared everyone. It felt like for the rest of the Hanshan.
Yeah, there's also a lot of hand building with choosing value over efficiency, and the hands just didn't quite get there.
Well,
It's
the other thing is
always a
Dora
balance
just
you
kept
have to
showing up
take.
on the hands that weren't fast.
They weren't fast, and sometimes, and a lot of them didn't even fit in the door. It's you gotta have a, and that was at the end. You saw she was keeping the 8 dot till the end for door acceptance. It's all about balance, and it felt like there was a lot of unbalance in this Hanshan.
Well, as long as the whole table's unbalanced, it's fine. It's when everyone else is doing well and you're the one a bit off kilter, that's when disaster happens.
Yeah, poor Negishi. That was brutal. I've been there, and it just feel like there's nothing you can do and no way to dig yourself out of that hole. Ouch. But that is our games for today. We will be back tomorrow with same bat time and same bat channel. Are you playing in the World Reach League?
Yes, I will be in New York. I head up Saturday morning.
Oh, all right. So so we will see you on the stream tomorrow night, and Nathaniel will also be heading out after the stream tomorrow night. World Reach League, the first version of that on the US continent. It's been happening in Europe, and we're finally getting it in the US, happening in 3 places so that we can get as many players as possible. I get access for as many players as possible, traveling a shorter distance, hopefully. I'm really excited to hear the outcomes, and I'll be watching. I gotta find some place to watch your guys' standings. I hope there'll be a place to watch.
They should be posted at least at every break or so. But yeah, that's the thing. The USD is big. People underestimate. There have been some Japanese authors that are like, how big is America? They traveled. Oh my god.
Yeah, you can just drive for days. Also, the finals, so from each venue there will be people moving on to the finals, which will be held online, and we will be streaming those finals on the WRC channel. We have confirmed that. We haven't confirmed the dates or the commentators for that. Hopefully you and Nathaniel will be playing and you won't be able to commentate, but we shall see.
All right, then. I don't think we have any standing pages because, of course, all our graphics are being updated due to the name change.
We do have the end. We should have the game totals for the games today and the final standings for today's. Of course, we saw that Riichi City is just far ahead of everybody, so I'm not sure how necessary, but we should have those screens. I don't know.
I'm getting word from back
They
we
didn't get
don't have them. They say the graphics are getting updated for the new stuff, so
all right.
we should have it ready for tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow, and we'll also have an update on the individual finals tomorrow. Or an update on who's heading to the playoffs. We won't know for sure until the last session next month, but we'll have an update for y'all tomorrow. All right, and that's all I have.
All right, then, unless there's anything else, so I guess we'll just wrap it up. For Tips, Kairal, Jenn, this is Corak for the brand new name Sankei Shimbun Cup, and we hope to see you tomorrow.
All right, see ya.